Hi everyone, welcome back to another video, and welcome to the beginning of our little zodiac sign build series. I've gotten quite a few requests to do a zodiac themed build, so we are going to be making tiny homes for all 12 of the zodiac signs, starting with the fire signs. There will be different parts for each element, but I figured we could start with fire because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So we'll start with the fire signs and just go down from there. I was also thinking of making the zodiac signs in Create a Sim, so let me know if you'd be interested in seeing that too. Alright, well since Aries is the first astrological sign, we will start there. And small disclaimer, I'm going to be making these builds strongly based off of the stereotype of each sign, so they may not fully pertain to you. They will be very stereotypical and based off of the information I found, so just keep that in mind. Well, starting with Aries, I made a little poster to show a description of the sign. The symbol of Aries is the ram, and the colors that are most often associated with this sign are reds, oranges, yellows, and pinks. Although I did see a lot of Aries saying that they actually don't like the color red that much, so we might just do like little pops of it. And also, if you can tell, I am doing a bit of a modern aesthetic, which I don't often do, so this is gonna take a bit to figure out. But yeah, some character traits of Aries: they're very honest, they're courageous, extroverted, they're good in leadership positions because they're very assertive and passionate, and those are some good traits, but just like everyone else, we all have some flaws. So they're also seen as impatient, impulsive, aggressive, a little stubborn, a little blunt. Some hobbies of theirs are exercising, going outdoors, competitions, they're very competitive, so I'll definitely have to find spots for like gym equipment and anything that requires competition. Also, don't worry about how it's not aligned with the path, I will fix that later. I also saw how they're like always on the go, so they start a lot of projects but don't finish them, and sometimes that can lead to their space getting pretty cluttered. So I'll probably get a bunch of projects scattered throughout the house, lots of little equipment. They have lots of hobbies, but they may not finish working on one before moving on to the next one. Also, feel free to let me know what your zodiac sign is down below. Are you by chance a fire sign? I myself am a Scorpio, which is kind of sad because water signs are the last ones we're gonna do. I know it's kind of a big pop of color, but I did want to get an orange door because, like I said, of course I'm going to include red. I feel like I have to include red, but I don't want to go overboard on the red. I want to include other colors. I want it to be very colorful. Alright, well I'm just adding in some landscaping. I'm actually trying to do a rooftop garden. I just wanted it to look more lively, you know, because Aries have a lot of character. I feel like mainly what we need is just some outdoor lights, just so it's not like pitch black out here at night, and maybe just a little welcome mat. Since they're so extroverted, they might have a bit of people over. And one last thing I feel like would be a good idea is like a games table. I know I probably won't be able to fit this inside, so I'm gonna put it out here. So yeah, they can play some games with their friends, get all competitive. As someone who doesn't really do modern builds, I think that's looking pretty good. So there is the exterior of our Aries tiny home. Now I'm ready to go inside and I am so excited. So I made a pretty basic floor plan, and with these tiny homes, the floor plans get a little wonky, okay? This will be our main space. I'm hoping we can fit a proper kitchen and living area. Well, we at least need a kitchen because this sim needs to eat. In this space, we'll have our bedroom, and we have an ensuite coming off of it. I did want the bathroom to be open to everyone since there might be people coming over, but unfortunately that's not how it worked out. But I was able to fit in a little gym space, so that is good. So what I think I'm actually gonna do is do all plain white wallpaper. Maybe if I can bring in the red siding on one side, and I would really like to bring in some yellow, but the only issue is that red and yellow, you know, it looks like McDonald's. I don't really want the Aries house to look like a McDonald's build, so hopefully when we get more furniture in with different colors, it won't look so McDonald's-y. I'm just gonna put some random counters down so I know relatively where the kitchen will be. Oh, you know what? I really like this horse ranch rug because it has the oranges, the yellow, and a little bit of pink. Also, if you're enjoying this so far and would like to see the other zodiac signs, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I always appreciate your support. I kind of like this couch because, you know, it's still a little bit modern, and I definitely want like a little chair, and I know exactly which one to get because with growing together, we have these little ram stools. Like, that couldn't be any more perfect considering the symbol of Aries is a ram. And with this layout, I'm not sure that we can fit in a TV because I could definitely do like a little coffee table situation. I just feel like it's not the best move to take up the whole middle space to add in a TV, because instead we could get like a game, get like a chess table in the middle. Although I'm not sure, maybe I do like the TV better. I mean, I guess what we could do is we could get a little video game console because they can play some sort of competitive game on there. And another game I was thinking of including is darts. I don't really know where to squeeze it in, maybe on this wall. And obviously there's a lot more decoration that needs to be added. But before I get into that, I'm gonna head over to our kitchen. I once again want to look at some modern options. There's these ones from Dream Home Decorator. There is a yellow swatch, but is it giving McDonald's? Oh, there's also the Home Chef Hustle ones, which I do really like. These ones are really nice to me, and they look a little less McDonald's-y. I might get this fridge because I really like the gold accents. Obviously, gold seems a lot more fiery than silver does. I might get a coffee machine because they're always on the move. They might need an energy boost from time to time. scheme. I might leave out some pizza ingredients. Maybe they were working on a pizza and they kind of like gave up halfway through. They got a little impatient, it was taking too long, so they moved on to the next thing. And I'm just trying to fit some clutter up on this windowsill because like I had said, I do want this place to be pretty cluttered. And these are fire signs, so we should get a fire alarm. And with the gallery, thankfully, we do have some zodiac paintings. So from this creator right here, we have the Aries constellation, which would of course be perfect to add in somewhere. Oh yeah, here's some of the ribbons we have. I might save them all to put them in the bedroom. There's also this really pretty Aries painting right here, and that one is from this creator right here. Super gorgeous artwork. Also, if you're like me who thought Aries was very red and black, you might be a little confused why I went for such a bright color scheme. But the reason why I went for lighter colors is because I saw a lot of Aries that were not happy with the red and black color scheme. And I do understand that because even when I looked them up, it did seem like they were very into colors, like very bright and bold just like them. So in that case, I did break off a little bit from the stereotype, but I am really loving how lively it looks in here. Maybe I'll get one of the pottery items, like they were into pottery for a tiny bit of time. Maybe they did like one project before moving on to the next hobby. And I know I kind of always add these, but I do want to get some fairy lights. I feel like they make sense because they kind of warm up the space. And for Aries, their birthstone is diamond, so I'm gonna get a little diamond. Earlier I mentioned how they might start a lot of projects but not get around to finishing them, so I'm gonna look at eco lifestyle and parenthood debug because I know they have little boxes and little projects, especially parenthood with these little school projects. Like there's so many things in the progress of making, but none of them have been finished. Oh yeah, from eco lifestyle we have these storage boxes. Oh my gosh, they're a lot bigger than I expected them to be, but I might get some of these too. Like they probably moved in recently, so it is realistic that they just moved in and maybe they haven't quite gone around to fully unpacking. I hate using medium wall height, it's so much more difficult to decorate, but I also just feel like it kind of suited this build. Alright, well that is going to wrap it up for the living space of our Aries. I think it's very fun in here. There's a lot of stuff to do, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be done. I love our colors, the clutter, our games, our unfinished projects. I'm gonna go over here, I'm gonna go into our bedroom. Of course, keeping with the same color scheme, kind of the same style. I'm just looking at our options for beds. That one's kind of good. I would love to tie in some orange, but we really don't have a lot of orange wall options. This one is a possibility. It's kind of like a burnt orange. I could try to combine it with like a coralish pink. Maybe I could use this rug to tie in the orange and even bring in some yellow. I really wish I could have used these curtains because the gold looks so much better, but you know, because of our wall height, we have to have taller curtains. Just another reason why tall walls suck, because you don't have as many options when it comes to like curtains and doors. Alright, well I'm just getting in the basics, you know, some nightstands, a dresser, maybe even a bedside lamp, or a candle would even be better. You know, candles, fire, and I actually love these ones, so I might even get two. And you know, since I made them into competitive gaming, I could also try to squeeze in a gaming PC. We'll get a super cute fiery gaming setup. Maybe I'll get this soccer trophy poster. They could have played soccer. They tend to like exercise and soccer is a competitive sport. Maybe even basketball. I'm sure they would like all the sports as long as they can win. And if I look up trophy, we do have quite a few trophies in this game. So of course I'm gonna get as many of those that I see fit. And as I was showing you earlier, we do have some ribbons. And I know I already used the ram stool in the living room, but you can never have too many rams to symbolize Aries. I'm really loving how the room is coming out. I think it's looking so fiery. I actually even went ahead and added this red wall to the other side too, because I've been saying I don't want to use too much red, but I felt like I didn't have enough red. I do tend to do a little bit of back and forth in these challenges because I can never make up my mind, and I might want to go back and get some more of those projects and those boxes. They're still unpacking items for their bedroom too. Alright, well I fit in everything I wanted, everything I needed for our Aries bedroom. I really love how the bedroom turned out. I think it's just perfect, and it's really fun to just try to match the personality of these signs, which makes me pretty excited if we do end up doing create a sim for these signs. Alright, well let's move on. I think I'm gonna do the gym before I do the bathroom. Same color scheme. I'm gonna bring in some of the siding because there is the siding on the other side, and you know, we don't have much space, so we're not gonna be able to fit in a variety of gym equipment. But what I really want to include is a punching bag. Like I've been saying, this is all very stereotypical, so do not take offense, do not take it seriously, but Aries are known to be hot-headed and a little aggressive. So I mean, if you're angry, a great way to take it out would be with a punching bag. I could also get this machine, whatever it's called. Sorry, I'm not very well acquainted with my gym equipment. Is it weird to have fairy lights in a gym? I don't think so. I think fairy lights belong anywhere and everywhere. I don't think I can fit any more gym equipment, but maybe I could get a mirror. Oh my gosh, I forgot you can make the soccer ball golden. Of course they'd have a golden soccer ball. And the actual functional weightlifting that comes with adventure weights is way too big for in here, but we do have a little fake set from Lovestruck. Let's get some fitness pictures to get them pumped up. I know this is supposed to be a weight, but it kind of looks like a marshmallow on a stick. Alright, well there's not much you can add in a tiny gym space. And we are almost done with our first fire sign tiny home. We just have to do our bathroom, which really shouldn't take too long. Bathrooms are pretty straightforward. I might do this yellow growing together tile. It does come with a matching tile wall, but I feel like this would drive me insane. Having like the same pattern on the floors and the walls. Oh, what if I did yellow and orange? Is that too much? I mean, this wallpaper does come with a white swatch, so we could do one white wall because I do kind of like the orange and the yellow. If I really wanted to, this bathroom is big enough to fit a shower bath combo, and I feel like we won't get that opportunity very often in these builds, so I'm gonna take the opportunity. I'll get the matching growing together sink because I want to keep the gold, but I would like to bring in some red, so maybe I could get a rug. Not a fan of our red rugs though. I mean, maybe this round rug from high school years. It's just kind of weird in here. I feel like it doesn't fit very well, but that is pretty much our only option, so I might just have to go for it. Since we have this space, I might try to squeeze in a little bathroom cabinet. It's cutting it close, I know, but I think it will still function. And I almost forgot about these little neon signs. One does come with like a fire emoji, and you know these are the fire signs. I'm sure you get it by now. And I feel like Aries is especially fiery. I'm also gonna get this decal, which is like a fire bowl, but I'm gonna hide the bowl in the cabinet, so then we just get a little fire decal. Alright, bathrooms are always basic, but here is the Aries bathroom. Really, I was just trying to bring in the same colors that we've been using. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the bathroom and pretty much it for the whole house. I love how it turned out. I think it could be really fitting for an Aries sign based on just what I researched and my own idea of what an Aries would be like. Everyone has kind of different ideas of zodiac signs because they're not super concrete, but that is what's so fun about them because it allows you to be creative. So I'm really excited to move on to our next fire sign, which going in order, the next would be Leo because their birthday falls between July 23rd and August 22nd. And I think our Leo deserves to be on the top of our hill right here. The colors that I saw most associated with Leos were yellow, gold, orange, and even green, and jewel tones like purple. The symbol is the lion, and everyone knows that Leos are supposed to be prideful and courageous like a lion. They're brave, loyal, confident, and generous. But another important trait that I feel like often gets forgotten is that they're very creative. They like several different forms of art like painting, and they love to entertain, so they like theater. Alright, sorry, I know it looks completely different. I was not liking the direction that the other one was going in. I'm thinking a style like this is pretty good because it's almost like a mini mansion. And what I've seen about Leos is that they're pretty fancy, they like expensive things, and they're pretty aesthetic. I mean, you always hear that one of their negative traits is vanity, so they do care about appearances, but I don't want to make that like the main thing. There's a lot more to them than just that. Like similar to Aries, they love people, they're very funny and outgoing, so I definitely want a pretty big living room slash entertainment space, and I'm trying to have a little bit of a patio so we can have a hangout space there too. And if I have room, I would like to have a proper dining table. And another characteristic that I kept seeing was that they're almost like maximalists, and that makes sense to me because since they're so luxurious, I'm sure they love decor. So far, I do feel like the outside is fitting that fanciness, but I don't want to do too much because I know they don't always like being associated with vanity. Speaking of which, I didn't finish talking about the other flaws, which common ones I found were being self-absorbed, stubborn, and possessive. But that's okay because one thing that I also saw was that Leos are very into self-growth and just that they care about being a better person, so they will try and work on their issues. I might also give Leo a welcome mat for the same reason as I gave one to Aries. Lots of people coming into your house, lots of people to welcome. And going over to the landscaping, there's one thing that's very important to me, and that is including sunflowers because sunflowers are Leo's birth flower. And that makes perfect sense because just like sunflowers, Leos are very sunny and cheerful, and that's part of why I feel like golden yellow is such a prominent color for Leos. Yes, that looks gorgeous, and I would love to, if I have space, to put a couple more seats on the lawn. I guess just another bench. And it would be really nice if we could fit some sort of fountain. Oh, wait a minute. Before that, we have a gnome that has a sunflower hat. But yeah, like a fountain like this, I think that might be too big. I mean, it kind of fits if I just like squeeze it into that corner. Yeah, okay, I feel like that works. And we also just need a mailbox. This one right here is pretty bright and cheerful. Alright, well that is going to wrap it up for the exterior of the Leo's tiny home. It's so cute and the perfect balance of like looking fancy but also looking very inviting. So now let's go ahead and move inside where I'm probably gonna start to use more of those jewel tones. I definitely want to bring in some of that royal purple, but not too much because purple is one of the main colors of Sagittarius. So I just need to be careful because I don't want them to be too similar. This could be a good purple, but I might just get it on one wall. Also, I got these nice pretty gold lights because as I've been saying, I want it to look pretty fancy and nice, like they have good taste, but I do have to kind of be careful because I don't want it to look cheesy. So nice, kind of expensive furniture, but not like a get famous type of fancy, you know? Compared to the Aries house, I might do a little bit of a darker flooring and some darker woods. See, this right here is a prime example of cheesy expensive. That is not what I'm looking for because Leos have some good taste. I'm really not loving any of our couch options. After looking at all of them, I feel like this might be my best bet. I know it's kind of a lot because we have yellow, purple, and green. Just trust me here, we will try to figure it out. Okay, I know I just told you to trust me and now everything looks completely different. So I guess maybe don't trust me because I was not liking how that was looking. Instead, I've decided to focus on more of the green and the yellow, and I will have some purple like I have this chair. It's looking a lot nicer, not as cheesy, and we have all the gold, and I love this lamp over here. It's totally giving maximalism. I made sure to get lots of comfy seating so you know we can fit a lot of people here, and also when everyone leaves it's going to be a nice space for Leo to relax and unwind. I definitely want a TV because since they're so into entertaining, I'm sure they would love to have movie nights with their friends, and theater was a common hobby because like I said, they like art, and I personally love that one because of the fall colors. And I'm just trying to get some clutter. I like this little gold cat. I know it's a little on the nose, but it's kind of like a lion. And I'm also kind of wondering if I could just squeeze in a very small end table. Honestly, one like that might be our best bet because it's so small. Or this one could be pretty good too. It's a little bit bigger. Okay, so far I'm loving it, loving the jewel tones, but I do want to get more of that creative side, so I could get a mic stand in here. I know we don't have much space, but I feel like it's good because they can use it to entertain their friends when they're over. They're pretty funny, so they could do a little comedy show, and they do kind of like the spotlight, so I feel like that's good. What if I even got a guitar? Although they do also like painting, I'll probably save that for the bedroom. And how could I forget? We definitely need some mirrors in here. Even though I don't want vanity to be the main focus, I definitely need to include it somehow, so I will get a mirror. They just like looking at themselves, you know? Hey, at least they're confident. More power to them. Okay, let me look at some purple options because we only have one purple object in here. I want a little bit more, like these super pretty purple flowers. You know what? I could get some purple cushions. This color of purple is almost like borderline offensive, but not quite. At least it's not the hot magenta. Oh, I love these purple candles. This is a really pretty purple color. And you know what I was thinking when I was building off camera? I added in a fireplace and I realized I couldn't fit one in the Aries build, but of course I'd want to fit a fireplace because these are the fire signs. Another really important symbol is the sun, because the sun is associated with Leo. Oh, I forgot, there's a sun tarot card. That could be good. And isn't there one with a lion on it? I think so, right? Yeah, right here. And it's kind of fitting because zodiacs and tarot cards are pretty related. I'll have to even keep that in mind for some of the other signs maybe. Oh my gosh, yeah, and this one is perfect because I'm pretty sure this is supposed to represent the strength card, and that is the primary tarot card associated with Leo. I looked up the one associated with Aries and it's the Emperor card, which I'm not really sure which one it's supposed to be. Maybe this one? Maybe we just don't do one for Aries. And from the same paintings that I was using earlier, here's the Leo one. Of course, the person has gorgeous, gorgeous hair, like a gorgeous mane. And oh wow, there's actually a lot of Leo art on the gallery. So yeah, we are definitely using more of that. Maybe I'll save that one for the bedroom, and I'll get some of the other ones just in a smaller size and make kind of like a little gallery wall. Yeah, I don't know, maybe just something like this. And you know, once again, not to be too on the nose, but I do kind of feel like including a cat because, you know, Leo, a lion, is a cat. And I was also looking at the birthstone of Leo, which is peridot. We don't have peridot in this game, but other crystals associated with Leo are ruby and sunstone. And we don't have sunstone, but we do have ruby, so I'm going to get that in. I'm just loving it so much. I love the color scheme. I think we did a pretty good job. We got lots of gold. We made it look very warm and cozy, but still nice. I'm very happy with it. Let's move to our kitchen over here, which, as I said earlier, I'm gonna try to fit a little dining room space for all the people we're gonna have over. Counters might be a little hard because I want them to look pretty nice. We do have some green ones from Life and Death. I'm gonna stick the kitchen back here in this corner, and then on this end I'll try to squeeze in the dining table. And it might get kind of dark if I get cabinets on all the walls, so I'm just going to get it on the back wall. Like, see, in this corner there's some shadowing, and honestly I don't like that, so I might not bring it all the way over there. And even then it's still dark, so I'm just gonna bring over these candles that we had in the living room. I'll get this super nice fridge right here. I love like the details that you can see inside of the fridge. Like, everything in there looks so good. That whole chocolate cake, and what is this, like takeout food? And here we go, yet another video where The Sims is making me hungry. Since we do have a perfect little hideaway corner over here, I think that's where I'm gonna put our trash can. We'll get a fancy money trash can. In the kitchen area, I might get a gold fluffy rug. Nice expensive looking textures like faux fur, velvet, and silk are pretty good. And I really haven't gotten much orange yet, so I'm going to bring in just a little bit on the curtains. And before I start adding in any clutter, I'm just gonna get our dining room set. Our options are maybe not ideal, but I don't know, maybe something small and kind of simple like this would be good. And it's kind of fancy, or do you think it's more cheesy? Maybe instead we could go with a table like this. And if we have any good options, I would love to bring in some purple. Oh my gosh, this would have been perfect if this one and this one were like combined. Yeah, you know what? I feel like I have to give up on the whole purple thing. At least for the chairs, I'll just do a gold. I feel like I have so many ideas to make this work, but the game just does not want to cooperate. It's in these situations that I wish we had the color wheel that we had back in Sims 3. I'm trying to maybe instead find a purple rug. I'm not having the best of luck, but I feel like the Celebstruck one is close enough. Oh, and I also can't forget, we need some food for the cat. So we'll get a nice golden food dish. Oh, hey, perfect. We can get some purple flowers. I'm just trying to get in as much purple as I can. And if I use one of those Leo paintings and use this base game picture for the frame, that looks pretty good. Very pretty, and there's some more purple. All right, kitchen clutter time. We'll get some little jars of spices and stuff. Maybe a cake, like a little dessert for all the guests. Remember, we do want quite a bit of clutter to fit with that maximalism theme. And I'm starting to run out of space. I don't really know what else to put in here. Maybe some hanging plants, I guess. Those are always my go-to. All right, well, here is the kitchen and dining for our Leo sim. It was a bit of a struggle, but I'm happy we were able to keep with the same color scheme. And I'm happy we were able to fit a small dining table for all of Leo's friends. All right, oh my gosh, I'm loving how this one is turning out. Which reminds me, even if you're not one of these zodiac signs, make sure to let me know what your favorite tiny home ends up being. All right, well, heading to the bedroom, as you can see, I've already added some items in here. And I might try to include this wallpaper from Crystal Creations. It's purple and gold, and it has some sun decoration. I mean, I know it's the sun, moon, and stars, but we can just focus on the sun. And I know this is kind of a small bedroom, but to be fair, they have a pretty big house, so it's really not that bad. It could be worse. All right, for the bed, I would like a pretty nice bed option, you know, to keep with the fanciness. This one from Discover University isn't too bad. Oh, you know what? Oh my gosh, I have to use this one. I know this one is a little more rustic, but there's literally sunflowers on the bed. Like, hello, that couldn't be any more perfect. Yes, some more sunflowers. I might even use these candles again, just in a different swatch. Although I should probably alt place them because they were touching the flowers, and that is definitely a fire hazard. But at the same time, a little fire isn't going to hurt a fire sign. All right, and I would love to fit in a vanity. I don't have the actual vanities that come in that one kit. I don't remember what kit it is, but it's okay. I'm gonna try to custom make my own vanity. I've done it before. I can do it again. We just gotta get a little creative. Last time I took one of these vanity full body mirrors and just raised it up, which I think I can make work again. That doesn't look too bad. And it's the same color as the desk, so it totally looks built in. I also love the little pictures on the mirror, which gives me an idea. I'm pretty sure photography is a creative skill, so maybe they like taking pictures with their friends, which if you really think about it, it kind of ties into the outgoing side and the vanity side. Let me also get some makeup. All right, and of course I want my easel. I'm thinking of using the new one from the event because, I mean, look how fancy she is. Such a gorgeous easel, and it comes in that goldish orange color. I might also get another mirror in because I haven't put that many in this build, and I feel like we might need a little bit more for our Leo. I am just realizing that I am not able to fit a dresser in here, but I kind of feel like some of our other items are more important, so whatever. I'm gonna get in this picture of a yellow flower. I know it's not a sunflower, but it is close enough. All right, it's not the biggest room, but I do really love how it turned out. That is going to wrap it up for our Leo bedroom. Once again, I love the colors. I love the vibes. I do feel like so far the vibes are giving Leo, just with the gold, all the jewel tones, the art pieces and instruments. Very fancy but warm and inviting, a perfect spot to host. And we just have our bathroom left to do. Looking at the color options of our appliances, it's probably best if we just go for gold. I mean, this shower from Life and Death does have a little bit of the green. I just don't know if we can keep with that throughout the whole bathroom. Well, we do have this, which I think is the matching sink, but maybe I'll just do the white and gold one because I don't want there to be too much green. I definitely want a bigger focus on the gold. Oh, look at this fancy gold toilet. And dang it, I've done it again where I put the furniture before the wallpaper in the flooring. It's a bad habit, I know, I'm sorry. And I really like this flooring because it's so sunny. Oh yeah, look at this fancy mirror. And something about the design on it kind of reminds me of like a lion's mane. I could just be making that up, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. Oh yikes, I don't know if I can fit a litter box in here. Like I could kind of put it in the middle. That's really the only place I can put it. It is a little in the way and I'm not sure if it's even functional, but we don't have a choice. All right, well now just for some bathroom clutter, really just the basics that I always get. And I always like squeezing in these soaps in the shower. Oh my gosh, a robe. We should totally get a robe. That just seems so fitting for some reason and we'll make it gold too. And we have some empty space on the wall, so I'm going to get art from this creator because there's an adorable Leo painting. Okay, I was able to fit in another one of those paintings and there is our little Leo bathroom, which means that also wraps up our entire Leo tiny home. Originally, I was gonna stick with a gold, orange, and brown color scheme, but after doing a little research myself, I saw a lot of Leos saying they like gold, but they also like purple and green, like more jewel tones, kind of like I've been saying, so I thought it would be fun to try something maybe a little different, a little unexpected, you know, not just the typical fiery colors, and I really like the color scheme. I think it turned out great. All right, well, on to the last tiny home. Our last fire sign is Sagittarius. The sign of Sagittarius falls between November 23rd 23rd and December 31st. They're known for being very adventurous and curious. They love to travel, they love being outdoors, so of course I'll try to fit in a lot of outdoor activities. And that also gives me the idea to do a cozy boho cabin, you know, like taking inspiration from a camp cabin. And as I kind of touched on earlier, the main color of Sagittarius is purple, but you also see other colors like turquoise and blue and a lot of earth tones like mustard and browns. For the outside, I'm not really trying to do the color scheme. I want to focus more on the cabin aesthetic, the camp outdoorsy kind of nature vibes. Some other good traits of a Sagittarius is that they're very funny, they're wise, honest, and optimistic. I can totally vouch for them being funny because a lot of the Sagittarius I know are pretty funny. However, at times they can also be blunt, restless, and tactless. And as I already said, they like being outdoors, traveling, like camping, but they're also pretty creative and intelligent. They don't just like exploring physically, but they also like exploring mentally. I touched on how they're very curious, so they love to read and learn new information, and they also really like to journal. Well, I've got the basic structure down. Now to start decorating, we're gonna do some landscaping. I think it's already looking so cozy, and I'm really excited to do that boho vibe inside. And since they love nature, I want some lush greenery out here. So lots of plants, lots of flowers. I'm trying to do yellow and purple. I should probably even throw in a bit of orange too. And maybe for Sagittarius, I'll do a purple welcome mat. I don't feel like a welcome mat is as important with Sagittarius because I don't think they're as social as Aries and Leo. But you know what? Maybe a welcome mat is nice after they come home from a long trip. Maybe it's not so much about welcoming others, but rather welcoming yourself back home. Okay, it's looking awesome. I'm gonna start looking at some activities we can include. I've already gotten in a little campfire for all the signs, so that is pretty fitting. I feel like I could also get a bicycle so they can ride around in nature. I'm sure they go for lots of hikes and bike rides. I could get a yoga mat. That's a nice relaxing way to connect to nature. What else? Maybe a water balloon bucket. I mean, I know it's a fire sign, but a water balloon fight is a fun outdoor activity. And you know what? Maybe they like to play with Aries because it's a competitive game. Oh my gosh, this is such a good idea. So I forgot to mention that the symbol for Sagittarius is a centaur, and that centaur is holding a little bow and arrow, so we could get an archery target. And I'm sure there's a lot of activities that I could include out here, but we don't have much space. Maybe one kind of silly last thing we could get is a swing set. I mean, we have the room for it, so we might as well. Alright, well here is the exterior for Sagittarius. I think it's adorable and super fun. Lots of greenery and little activities for them to do, and I believe it is time to go inside. I'm so excited to do this one. It's gonna be so fun. Like I said, this one is gonna be a bit more on the boho side, so I'll probably use a lot of wood, a lot of this material. I think it's wicker. I tried to get a lot of windows in here so they can see the beautiful outdoors, and I strategically did a more open floor plan because they love their freedom and open spaces. For the walls, maybe one brick accent wall would be good, and on some walls I'll do a bit of this purple, but I don't want it to look too dark, so I'm gonna do cream on some walls too. Okay, I'm thinking this layout may be a little different than the others. I think the kitchen would actually work best near the entryway, and we for sure want some boho rugs. I might even see if I have ones that I can sort of like layer together. I don't really know the best way to do that. I don't often layer rugs, but I feel like it fits the vibe of our Sagittarius. Some other little clutter that I'll definitely want to include are travel items, and we have a lot of outdoor gear from like Snowy Escape, Outdoor Retreat, and Adventure Awaits, so I'll keep that in mind when it comes to cluttering. I love these little sofas from high school years, definitely giving boho, and also because they travel to so many different places, I want to get a lot of souvenirs, so it may end up looking a little bit cluttered, but it's intentional clutter. And I'm getting a little fireplace, but I don't think I'm gonna get a TV because I kind of feel like they'd prefer doing other hobbies than just watching TV. Like, I'm sure they like having downtime, but I feel like they'd rather read a book than watch TV with that downtime. I love this egg chair. It's supposed to match the sofa, but I did a different swatch. I'll get a cozy lamp, kind of bring in some orange, and there's a little bit of awkward space behind the sofa because if I put it back all the way, it's kind of far from the rest of the seating. So maybe what I can do is get a bunch of plants behind there. It may be a little difficult to find ones that fit back there, but we'll see. I'm sure we can figure something out. Even something simple like that. It's already looking so cozy, and I love it because I want it to be very homey, so that way when they come back from their travels, they feel very at home in their home. I'm sure even an adventurous little Sagittarius would get homesick from time to time, and I want to get this fridge because it has little stickers on it. There's a map, and these actually look like souvenirs from places they've been. That is so perfect. Oh, interesting. The half cabinet for these is a dish rack. Well, I kind of have to get two of them, and you're certainly not going to be able to reach those. You'd have to like stand on top of the fridge to even get a plate. You know what? Maybe they're just decorative. They have souvenir plates from places they've been to. And oh my gosh, check out these shelves. They're suitcases. You could not get any more perfect. Also, I'm realizing I wanted purple to be a very key feature in this. However, we really don't have a lot of purple objects that are cute at least. least, and that fit our aesthetic. So it is a little difficult, but I feel like it's okay because we have a lot of oranges and browns, a lot of nature-y colors, which are also very common, so it's not too big of a deal. And the birthstone for Sagittarius is turquoise, which is perfect because we do have turquoise in this game. Here's some art made from the nature press, so maybe in the room I could get a desk and put a nature press in. Kind of feel like I should get a calendar so they can like plan out all their dates for traveling. Oh my gosh, and that makes me think I should totally get a corkboard somewhere, maybe in their room, because you can put all the little postcards on there, all of the places that they've traveled to. I'll get them a real dish rack that they can actually reach. And yeah, I really just want items that kind of look like souvenirs. Oh my gosh, wait, what if I got them a little frog? Maybe they caught it out in the wild on one of their camping trips. Maybe it was injured, so they wanted to give it a safe home. Oh, some bird feathers, that's perfect. This is a seagull feather, maybe they went to a beach vacation. Oh my gosh, and maybe a finch feather. This is a little far-fetched, but maybe they went to the Galapagos Islands. You know where there's all the variations of Darwin's finches? Sorry, I was just learning about that recently and it's on my mind because it was pretty interesting. So yeah, shout out to Charles Darwin. Oh, here we go. From Adventure Awaits a little bow and arrow. Too perfect for our little archer centaur. Here's some of the camping gear I was talking about. Sorry, it is a different day and I look completely different because I just went to the eye doctor and got some contacts, but let's just go ahead and pick up right where we left off. For the main space, I feel like I just need some more souvenir items, which really anything can be a souvenir, so I'm just gonna get a bunch of clutter. But I would say that we are almost done here. I'm just gonna get a few more things, like some fairy lights. I really feel like we covered most of the space, but one thing I could do though is get in a little end table and probably put some books on it so they can expand their knowledge and their curiosity. Oh, and look, we even have a magazine caddy. It would be so cool if those were like souvenir magazines, like travel guides and maps that they brought home from other places. Okay, I added a little more clutter and some pillows on the couches, and there we are for our Sagittarius living space. I really love that you can tell that this sim is pretty adventurous and they love to explore, but it also looks so homey in here, and it's definitely a nice place to come home to after a long trip. I mean, if I were this sim, I wouldn't even want to leave because it looks so cozy. Well, now let's get started on the bedroom. I think before I do the wallpaper, I'm gonna look at the beds. Sometimes it's just easier to base the whole room off of the bed's color scheme. I mean, if we really wanted to dive into that camp style, we totally could. But right now, I like the boho vibes we have going on. Oh, like the high school years bed, that could be good. I might do another purplish pop wall, but this one is a little lighter. I'm again trying to do a little layered rug moment. Oh my gosh, this is perfect. We have a suitcase nightstand. Totally gotta go with that. And we also have a woven lantern. 1 second, I'm going back to the living room to change our curtains because these ones right here are just way too good. And I already grabbed this earlier, but we have some snow gear from Snowy Escape. I'm sure they've hiked Mount Komorebi at least once. I want a desk for the flower pressing and the journaling, but I don't want to get a big one because I also want to fit a bookshelf and maybe a dresser. Here is the flower pressing kit and also a little journal. And here is our bookshelf. I could even fit a cute little reading chair next to it. And I was trying to find a match for the Sagittarius tarot card, which is Temperance, but I'm not finding a close enough match. This one is the closest to me. I don't know, I might not do one. I feel like Leo was the only obvious one, but we do have a Sagittarius painting over here, so I'm going to use this one. And then I can't forget to put postcards on our little cork board. We have lots and lots of different ones we can add, so I'm just gonna add a bunch of them. We even have a 6M postcard, so I guess they've been to space. If you're a Sagittarius and you like to travel, would you ever go to space? Personally, I'm good with just sticking down here on Earth, but you guys stay safe out there. All right, that's a whole lot of postcards. I think we're good. And yeah, I don't think we can fit like a whole dresser, but that's okay. They're always moving around anyway, so they probably just keep their clothes in a suitcase. I could imagine that they don't have like a bunch of clothes. They would prefer to just travel lightly. And I'll get a few different suitcases, maybe for like different kinds of vacations. One for summer with their bathing suits, one for winter with their snow jackets. They should always keep some sunscreen on hand, and we can't have too many souvenirs, so we're gonna have more in the bedroom too. These little oars, I think that's what they're called. Kayak paddles, whatever, that's good. I might even find a way to squeeze in this equipment. It's kind of random in the bedroom, but maybe they use their bedroom for like a storage space. You know, they live in a tiny home, they don't spend much time in their bedroom. They have a lot of gear to store, so they're gonna have to find somewhere to put it. Oh, a fish, I didn't even think about that. They probably go fishing too. I mean, that is another outdoor hobby. Okay, I think that's good for our cozy little Sagittarius bedroom. Very, very cozy, and I love all the travel equipment. I'm a little jealous of Sagittarius. I feel like they go out and do whatever they want. They'll travel by themselves even and just have the best time ever. They don't get worried about bugs and dirt. They just want to go out and see the world. Okay, we are moving on to the final room. We're gonna do the bathroom. I'll get some basic tan tiles. For the walls, I might throw in some blue. You know what? For some reason, I feel like giving them a bidet. I feel like you have to be pretty adventurous and brave to try a bidet. I kind of want to use the bathroom to tie in some orange. So in here, I'll probably stick to blues, tans, and oranges. I know I really didn't end up using that much purple because number one, we don't have a lot of purple options, as I've said many times before, especially more muted ones that would fit the Sagittarius. And also number two, I was trying to make it very earthy with the browns. This little nook over here is the perfect spot for a shower. And for the last time in this video, we're gonna look at some of our bathroom clutter. And I might even be a little crazy and throw in a random pop of purple. Is this absolutely wild to put in a bathroom? Regardless if you think so or not, I'm just gonna put it in. I mean, if they really love traveling and are proud of it, I wouldn't be surprised if they featured it in their bathroom too. Well, there you have it. We are done with the Sagittarius bathroom and we are done with the Sagittarius tiny home, really making it even harder for me to choose a favorite. I would say that this one is more my style though, and it's just so adorable and I totally feel like it fits the vibes of a Sagittarius. And there you go, we are done with all of our fire sign tiny homes. So Aries is the first sign of the zodiac and the next sign is Taurus. And Taurus is an earth sign, so today we are building tiny homes for our earth zodiacs. And our three earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And just like the disclaimer I gave last time, these zodiacs can be very stereotypical. The description may not fit you, the build may not fit you, and that's expected because everyone's a lot more unique than just 12 zodiac signs. But without further ado, let's get started with Taurus, which falls between April 20th and May 20th. The symbol of Taurus is the bull, and I saw a lot of moody colors, earthy tones, especially dark green and pink. But of course these are the earth signs, so there's lots of earth tones like brown and terracotta. And for this one, my plan is to do a little A-frame house. I feel like that would be good because I want to make like a fancy modern, but not too modern because I want it to be cozy. Because one thing about Taurus is that I saw is that they're super hard workers. They're super devoted to their work, very ambitious, and because of that they have a little extra to spend on luxury and leisure, which I found interesting because some of their negative traits was like being materialistic and selfish. But like if they're working so hard for their money, of course they're gonna spend it on items that will help them relax and enjoy their time outside of work. And also to expand on that, they do really love to relax, which I mean, who doesn't? But some of their favorite times are just relaxing in the bath or watching a show, eating their snacks. They're kind of homebodies, but they are an earth sign, so they do like being outdoors too, but not necessarily in an adventurous way like the Sagittarius, but more like they enjoy the relaxing side of nature, like lounging outside. Maybe we could fit in a little pool or a hot tub and a yoga mat. I'm also testing a lighter green siding for the outside because I was worried it was a little too dark. Dark green is one of their colors and I'll try to incorporate that more inside, but I wanted the outside to be a little more inviting, a little more comforting, and these flower boxes are perfect because we can incorporate some of that pink. But yeah, as I kind of talked about, I want it to be somewhat modern, but not like overly brutalist or anything because we want it to still be cozy and we want it to look very nice, kind of expensive, but not in like a super luxurious way. I don't really know how to explain it, but you'll see when we get there. Some more traits that I saw about them is that they're loyal, they're responsible, grounded, they seek consistency. They are also a very stubborn sign, but it kind of comes from how dedicated they are, like they'll do anything to get what they need to get done. And another one of their negative traits that I kept seeing was that they're lazy, which didn't even make sense to me because they're hard workers. I assume that since they just love to chill, people often see them as lazy, but how can you call them lazy for wanting to relax after working so hard all day? They work so hard so that they can afford to relax and have all the leisure time that they want. Anyway, I've mainly finished with the outside. I'm just gonna add in some of those activities that I talked about. I think I want to get some like lounge chairs out here though, and a comfy couch in this shaded area underneath this pretty tree. Maybe we can get an end table, put some books on it because that looks like such a nice reading spot. I might get just a couple gardening pots because gardening is relaxing and they are an earth sign, and I had said a yoga mat would be pretty good too. I was going to get a hot tub, I just don't really know where I would put it unless I move around our little seating over here. It's looking so nice and so cozy. One last thing I'm gonna add is a picnic basket because another thing about them is that they love food, they love their snacks, and I'm also quite a food lover, so I totally relate. Alright, well here's our luxurious, relaxing exterior for our Taurus. It looks so cozy and comforting for them. I'm happy they have this nice little oasis. And now we finally get to move inside, and I'm gonna keep carrying through that luxurious, earthy sanctuary for them. It's gonna be very nice looking, but still very cozy. I might do one wall green and the rest will be this brown paint. I do kind of wish I could use a darker green, but that is not really giving what I want it to give. Oh, unless I look at some of our stucco options, this color is so good. And I want it to be pretty cozy in here, so I'm probably gonna get a fireplace, although I think that one's actually a fake fireplace, so probably not that one. And of course, we're gonna want a really comfy looking couch. I might try this pretty one from Life and Death because it's like kind of modern and kind of fancy, but not too over the top, and it's got lots of pillows, so it's comfy. And I definitely want some soft, fluffy rugs, not just because they're soft, but also fluffy rugs look pretty expensive. And I do still want to add in some pink, like little accents here and there. So maybe I'll get a comfy rocking chair and we can get a nice lamp in the corner too. It'll be like a cozy little book reading spot. I'll get them a pretty nice TV so they can watch all of their movies and their shows in their free time. Oh my gosh, and the cutest little hot cocoa tray. In my opinion, hot chocolate is one of the coziest things ever. And for the most part, the earth signs are very organized. They don't like much clutter, but I'd say out of the three, Taurus would have the most clutter. And of course, I'm gonna be on the gallery again, getting some zodiac art. So we have some options by this creator. I especially want this one right here. Like, wow, that is so pretty. With this being a cozy build and all, we have to have the basket of cozies. It is in fact mandatory, and you know what else is mandatory? They have to make another appearance, our cozy string lights. And another very important thing for all of the earth signs, but especially Taurus, is just a bunch of plants. We need a whole lot of plants in here. And I never use this little brick rug that's meant to go under this fireplace. I just always forget about it, but I think it might be kind of nice to add in. I could potentially fit more stuff in here, but I'm just going to move to the kitchen really quickly to make sure I can fit everything. I also want it to be a pretty nice kitchen because, you know, they love food. And I had the idea that cooking or baking could be a pretty nice relaxing hobby for them. And I even feel like trying these very light pink, almost beige counters. They're super nice too. They fit really well in here. I'll get a pretty big fridge so they can fit all their food in there. This one is already looking so cute. I'm already obsessed. And instead of the big bulky upper cabinets, I'm just gonna get a cute little kitchen shelf, which has lots of little snacks like cookies, even some tea. And I definitely feel like I should get at least one cooking appliance, maybe a popcorn maker, so they can cozy up on the couch, watch some movies with their popcorn. That sounds so cozy. Honestly, I'm not even a Taurus, but this house is speaking to me. Oh, a money trash can definitely suits them. And I'm definitely feeling like now I need even more plants. I love me some plants. They always make a home look so much more lively. And since I mentioned how we have a little chef on our hands, we should probably get a recipe book. They have all the recipes of the best meals, desserts, and snacks on there. We'll get some snacks stored on top of their fridge. See, this right here is the kind of person that I want to be friends with. Alright, this is already looking too cute, too cozy. I can definitely see a Taurus just relaxing in this space, maybe enjoying their day off. Cook up a nice dinner, make some popcorn, grab some cookies, and just chill and watch a movie. This one is definitely on the smaller side since it is an A-frame house, but I think it looks really cute like that, and with the windows and the colors, it doesn't look too cramped or anything. Okay, well, let's move over to our bedroom now, which is also going to be very comfy. I'll bring in the dark green on the walls with the bright windows to give some contrast, and then maybe just a light brown on the other walls. And I was, of course, adding in my curtains as usual, but honestly, and this might be a little controversial, but I like it better in here without curtains. It's just so much brighter and nicer, and I think that could be really calming. Plus, you have such a beautiful view of all the luscious greenery outside. I think that would be very nice for our little Taurus. Obviously, we're gonna need a very comfy bed. I love this one from Eco Lifestyle. Whenever I'm trying to make a comfy room, I go to this bed. I'm gonna squeeze in a very skinny dresser, and that's because there's another skill item that I want to add in here. If you saw on my little like poster thing I showed you, I wrote down that Tauruses like to paint. Tauruses are also pretty creative, and painting is such a relaxing, creative hobby. I think that's a really good idea for one of their skill items. Oh my gosh, this dream home decorator rug is just perfect. It has the perfect like pastel earthy colors. Oh my gosh, wait, I said I wasn't gonna do curtains, but I wouldn't even consider these like real curtains. I'm gonna get some vines. That just makes it look so nice and fresh in here. And instead of a table lamp, I'm going to get this little candle set because I love candles. They are so cozy. That's why I usually have one lit in the background. Although I did just blow it out because I can't have it going for too long or else I start like choking on the smoke. And I'm gonna get some more Taurus art off the gallery from this creator. There's a super cute pink one which will look good on the green wall. And now let me try to squeeze in even more plants. I know we don't have too much space in here, so I'll see what I can do. You know, I was thinking of adding in a cowplant skull because it kind of looks like a bullhead, but is it just like too weird and gruesome? Like, that is not giving cozy vibes. I think it's best if we leave that out of the build. And I was able to fit quite a bit of clutter in here, but I do want to make sure you can still like move around the room. So I think that can be good for our little Taurus bedroom. Actually, one second, I forgot the fairy lights, so I just very quickly added them to a few of the walls. I'm loving it so much. All we have to do is the bathroom, and you may be wondering why I made the bathroom so big when our house is already so small, and that's because in this home we definitely need a bathtub. Like, come on, Tauruses love to relax. What is more relaxing than a nice warm bubble bath? I want it to almost feel like a little spa for them. If you have spa day in your game, your Taurus sim can do a little mud bath, or one of those other special ones like the citrus soak or the rose petal bath. And I'm gonna try something that might seem a little bit weird at first. I want to bring the ivy into the bathroom and just like hang it over the bathtub. I think once we finish decorating and we get in more plants, it'll make a little more sense. And I could intertwine some fairy lights in there, get this really pretty tapestry. I might get some candles in here too, because imagine taking a bath with the candles lit. Oh my gosh, that sounds so relaxing. I might get this bath bathroom shelf, I pretty much always use this one, but it does have a nice little plant on it. Some toilet paper, of course. A soft fluffy rug would be perfect in here too. And I know we do have like some spa stuff from spa day that would be pretty good to include. I might have to get like another shelf or even a small table to fit some of this stuff on, because we've got nail care, we have some essential oils. Oh, and I was looking for this in spa day, but it's actually base game. I could have sworn this came with spa day, but never mind. And there we go. I was able to put those on a little end table. We are almost done, and I can't believe I almost forgot a robe. I always put robes in my build, but we especially need it for Taurus, so they have a nice cozy thing to get into after their bath. And oh my gosh, I feel like this has to be like my favorite bathroom I ever made. I never care much about bathrooms because it's just a bathroom, but look how cozy this is. I personally love to relax and unwind in the bath, so this kind of looks like the perfect bathroom for me. Well, that means that our Taurus tiny home is now complete. I cannot get over the vibes of this place. It is just so comforting. I do feel like this would be a nice little getaway for a Taurus, and initially I was gonna put in like a little workspace or a laptop, but I also felt like since they love to relax, they'd want their home to be very homey and try to keep their work life at work. Well, I just adore this one so much. Now we get to move on over to Virgo, which falls between August 23rd and September 22nd. Also, I just want to say I'm sorry if I get any of the dates wrong. I keep seeing different dates whenever I look it up. Like especially for Taurus, sometimes it said it started April 19th, sometimes it said it ended May 21st instead of the 20th. I guess they just can't seem to make up their minds. The symbol of Virgo is a maiden holding wheat, which is why it's often associated with agriculture and fertility. And because of that, I feel pretty inspired to make like a cottagecore house. But they are also said to be very orderly, a bit of a perfectionist. So we definitely don't want too much clutter. We want it to be pretty organized, which you really don't often see with cottagecore. Usually there's a lot of clutter and it makes it super cozy. So really my goal is to make like an earthy, clean, peaceful looking cottage. Their primary colors are like browns, beiges, whites, but also some earthy greens and blues like sage and dusty blue. Usually I would use this brick when making a cottage, but I feel like we need some more like uniform bricks. And similar to Taurus, Virgos are also very hard workers. They're logical and they pay super close attention to detail, which is probably what leads them to be a bit of a perfectionist, and they can be overly critical. They can be anxious, especially when things don't go as planned, which one of my best friends is a Virgo, and I would say that description fits her pretty well. And I hardly ever do structured landscaping, but I feel like that would be kind of appropriate for a Virgo. We wouldn't want their garden looking a mess. They very clearly planted certain things in certain spots, although I might put just a few little flowers outside of it because I think it looks a lot cuter. And another thing I saw about Virgos is that they're very tactile, like sensory learners. So I feel like hobbies that really emphasize working with your hands would be good. You know, like gardening, which I already said I wanted because of that relation to agriculture. And it's not like Taurus where it's just a couple pots for fun. We will have quite a lot of gardening plots, especially those big ones, because I did also see that cleanliness kind of extends to what they eat. So maybe they grow lots of their own produce and they probably share with Taurus since Taurus loves food. Some other like hands-on hobbies that I thought of were flower arranging, writing, cross-stitching, potentially even pottery or candle making. It just depends what we can fit, but I also want their house to be very calming and peaceful, kind of to like give their brain a break. So I'm gonna do a cute little meditation poof. Okay, well, I'm happy with how the outside is looking. I don't want to do too much. I don't want to go overboard. I want to keep it nice and tidy. So now we get to go ahead and move inside. I want to keep with it being light and airy. I don't want too dark of colors. Oh my gosh, this wallpaper is like the perfect sage, but I might make one wall beige, and that way it kind of matches the stone across from it. I'm gonna get started by putting in a fireplace, and I'm gonna make sure to align it with the chimney. Now normally I do not care. I never ever care if they're aligned, but supposedly a Virgo on the other hand would be a little more nitpicky about that. I might use this couch. It looks very comfy and it's from Eco Lifestyle, so it's like kind of modern. We're doing a bit of a weird mix of like cottagecore and modern. Okay, I made the room slightly darker because I wanted to get more browns in here. I had a lot of beige, which is also good, but brown is like one of the main colors. Oh, and I also forgot about this little corner over here, which I was thinking of making like a proper entryway space. Oh, some gardening supplies, that would be great to put here. I'm gonna also get this base game accent table and just a little bit of clutter, and I'm getting some pottery stuff because if we can't fit the pottery items inside, which I doubt we can because we need 2 items, the kiln and the pottery wheel. So yeah, if we can't fit those, I'm just going to make up for it by getting pottery stuff in here to show that they do like pottery, but maybe they go somewhere to do the pottery. And I am gonna want to get some plants in here too, but not as much overflow as Taurus. And I believe Virgos also like reading. A lot of these signs seem to like reading. Okay, I have to be careful of overcluttering here because I'm starting to feel like I'm getting to that point. I mean, everything still looks very organized, so I think we're okay. And it's already looking so lovely and so peaceful. I may or may not be fully done with the living room area. I'm just going to move to the kitchen. I'm really struggling with what counters to use right now. I want to use brown, kind of like the medium brown we've been using, but we do not have a brown that matches that color. I could either go darker or I could go lighter. And unfortunately, I feel like the lighter one does match better. And I say unfortunately because I'm really trying to bring in that brown, but the game is just not working with me. I mean, at least it is still pretty brown. It's just we're not gonna have brown counters. I guess I should try to look for other curtains so they don't catch on fire. Oh my gosh, I was gonna use this sink because I love this sink, but there's dishes in the sink. And if we're going with the very stereotypical Virgo, a Virgo would not have dishes in their sink. I also wanted to get a little tea kettle, once again for those relaxing, calming vibes. And we can use a lot of the ceramic pieces as art because I'm sure they made it themselves. Ooh, I could get some herbs and pretend these were the ones they're growing in their garden. I also might sneak in a little shelf because I want there to be a proper like pantry space to organize all of their spices and whatnot, like a storage jar and some utensils. Yeah, that is adorable, super practical, we're not overdoing it. And you know what, I do have a little bit of extra space in this corner. I could potentially fit in a pottery wheel. It's asking me if I want a lesson on pottery. Don't you know I'm a master? Like, have you not watched The Very Veggie Legacy? I was a master at pottery in the broccoli generation. Anyway, the only thing is I can't fit in a kiln unless I like find a spot for it outside. It would be pretty big to try to squeeze in her bedroom. You know what, maybe they take their ceramics to a place where they can fire them, or they could just let it dry outside in the sun. I mean, what did they do back then before kilns? I don't actually know what they did, but I would assume that's what they did. I'd love to get in a calendar so they can plan and organize their schedule. And honestly, it's looking pretty nice and I don't want it to get too overly cluttered. So I might wrap it up for our living room slash kitchen area. I love it. I think it turned out really good. I think it's a great combination of clean but still looking comfy. Let's continue over to our bedroom. I'll keep with the same color scheme. I might try and add some blue, but I tried that in the living space and it wasn't really working. I was kind of envisioning this businesses and hobbies bed. It's really nice, really sleek. I think it fits well. I want to bring in that brown, so I'm going to use this rug, which is actually the same one we used in the living room, just a different swatch. I'm gonna get a really skinny dresser, and I know I could technically fit in a bigger one, but I want to prioritize a desk. And the reason I want a desk is because, like I said earlier, I think they could be really into writing, although I actually don't want a computer. I want to pretend that they write by hand. Like, I'll even get them a little journal, which is also good because it'll help clear their mind, and I'll get the little writing quill. That is such a cute little writing space. Oh, we could get some neatly folded clothes on the dresser. I might even get a little shelf for some more storage space, and I might also get a storage box because instead of having their clutter out in their room, they'd want it packed away. Oh, we totally need this little cleaning caddy. I'm sure they use those cleaning supplies quite often. I know we have a calendar in the living room, but I want to add in another calendar type item for more reminders about things that are going on in their schedule. And I can't believe I have yet to get any sort of Virgo art, so I'm gonna get these ones from one of those same creators I've been getting from. I love the little Virgo painting. Wow, this one is really cool. Look how beautiful that is. I may just have to size it down to get it to work better. I went ahead and got some plants in, and I think that's gonna wrap it up for our Virgo bedroom. Once again, I didn't want to clutter it up too much. I'm a little worried that I did because my clutter radar is off. I love clutter, so I really struggle to do minimal clutter, but it is so cozy and so perfect, and all we have left is our bathroom. I want to do some brown tile. I already used this one for Taurus, so I kind of want to switch it up. I might do this one from Lovestruck, and I could pair it with the wall tile version of those floor tiles, if that makes sense. Hopefully you know what I'm talking about, just because I do really love the herringbone. We once again have a bigger bathroom to work with, so I'm gonna do a shower tub combo, so they can take a calming bath, but they can also take a shower to feel clean. I've added in all the basic bathroom stuff. Now I'm going in with the decoration, although it will have considerably less than the Taurus one. Also, really quickly, the next signs we're going to be doing are the air signs, which are going to be Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So if you are one of those signs or just know stuff about astrology, feel free to give me any tips. And oh my gosh, also, I can't believe I didn't say this earlier. I should have said this when I was making the Taurus home, but we are approaching Taurus season, so happy birthday to any of my Tauruses out there. I honestly feel like I don't know a single Taurus in real life. Ooh, okay, I know we don't have much room, but I want to get a clothing hamper to also give into that neat idea. They're very good at not putting their dirty laundry on the floor. Alright, and as I said, definitely less clutter than the Taurus bathroom, but it's still very pretty and is a super nice bathroom. And there is our comfy clean cottage for our Virgo. It does seem like a pretty nice place for a Virgo to live. I do kind of wish I was able to squeeze in more brown because that is one of their primary colors, as I said, but it just wasn't working for me. But either way, I think it looks good. And before we head to our last one, if you are liking this so far, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, so that way you can stay tuned in for when we do the air and the water signs, and also for all 12 in Create a Sim. Well, now we are moving on to our final Earth zodiac, which is Capricorn, and they fall between December 22nd and January 19th. I was having a hard time deciding like what kind of aesthetic to go for. The main vibes I saw were kind of dark, modern, and minimal, but then I also saw a lot of like dark academia. And really, I feel like both can work, but I might go for more of that modern one, but I'll try not to make it like cold modern. It'll still be cozy. I was just seeing more of that clean minimal look, and I was thinking of doing dark academia for Scorpio, and I'll still make it cute. I was thinking of doing like a Scandinavian house, a dark Scandinavian house. So the symbol of Capricorn is the sea goat, and the colors they are represented by are dark earth tones like black, browns, and charcoal. But I also want to use some real colors, and I'm sure you would like to see that too. So I will use some dark blues and dark greens. And yeah, we want it to be pretty modern, a little rustic and expensive looking, but not flashy. And Capricorns are also very career focused. They're very determined, focused, practical, responsible. They're also noted to be very mature, opinionated, and helpful. They will do anything to achieve their goals. They are definitely rule followers, but if that's not working for them, they'll make their own rules. They're pretty reserved. They keep their circle small, but they're very good friends to the people that they are close with. Oh, and real quick, like I said, I still want it to be cozy. So I'm gonna get this super cute fence that comes with little fairy lights. They do still tend to keep their emotions to themselves, and they overall live a pretty quiet life. Although I did also see people saying that Capricorns love to party, which kind of contradicts the other information, so do with that what you will. Some more negative traits that I saw was that they can be pessimistic, unforgiving, and they stand their ground, which honestly those can be good because that means they don't let anyone walk over them. And similar to Virgo, they're pretty organized and will have minimal clutter, but that doesn't mean we can't make it cozy. I've probably said the word cozy like a million times in this build, but we are going to make it cozy. I got this awning over the patio, and I'm just raising up some plants to put on top of it, just trying to get in a bit of landscaping. I absolutely love these like midnight blue flowers. I kind of ended up making the landscaping a lot more lush and unstructured than I was planning, but I don't know, I kind of like it. I feel like it brings it to life. And for Capricorn's hobbies, they're very creative, but they express it through functional mediums. They prefer hobbies that keep them productive and challenge them, so like exercise, playing chess, reading, especially non-fiction. And I also thought another good physical productive hobby would be woodworking. So I'm gonna find a nice spot to fit in a woodworking table, and honestly I might even get the chess table outside because I'm not sure if we'd be able to fit it inside. And you know what, I also think a telescope would be good because in my research I saw some Capricorns saying that they're very into space and stars, and I don't know, I do feel like it kind of fits the dark vibe we're going for. Well, there you go. I think it looks pretty nice out here. I don't want it to look too messy. I think we kind of hit the nail on the darker colors, and I love their little hobbies. Actually, I kind of want to bring over these lights that we got from the Taurus house. The only thing is now I feel like the Virgo has that too, or else it just looks sad. Like that's just rude. They don't get the fairy lights. But also, is that too much for our Virgo? Is that too much for our Capricorn? I mean, I feel like it's okay. Who doesn't like fairy lights? And it just makes them look even cozier. So yeah, whatever. I'm gonna add it in. Okay, sorry. Now we can move on inside. I might even go in with these plant lights. The only thing is I have to size them down by one because they don't really fit on our short walls. And since we're doing a more Scandinavian look, we're probably gonna use a lot of businesses and hobbies. I think I've actually used this flooring in every single home, so can you tell I like it? Okay, I might bring in some navy because we're gonna have a lot of green in the plants anyway. I'll get kind of a grayish brick wall, and I'm gonna put it on this side because over here will be our kitchen. And then I'm also getting some lighter beige walls because I don't want it to be like dark, dark, dark. We need a little bit of contrast, a little bit of balance. I'm a bit torn on what to do because I love the idea of a leather couch. It just kind of blends like directly into the flooring. However, if we get a rug like this underneath it, it's not so bad. And I was debating whether or not to give them a TV because a lot of this stuff I saw was all about like all work, no play, and that things like a TV will just serve as a distraction. But at the same time, it doesn't have to be a distraction. Everyone needs a break from time to time. So if you're a Capricorn and relate to that, I want you to know that it is okay to take a break. And since I saw that they like reading nonfiction, maybe they also like to watch nonfiction movies or documentaries or the news. I do also want to get in a desk for them and maybe a little work laptop. They may not have the best work-life balance. I also got a bookshelf because of that whole reading thing. So far it's looking really nice, very expensive, but I definitely still get a sense of coziness, and we're gonna try to make it even more cozy. But first, oh my gosh, I was looking on the gallery for some Capricorn artwork and I am not seeing a single thing. Have our poor Capricorns been forgotten about? Although I'm looking at Taurus and Virgo to try to see that creator so I could go to their page, but I'm not seeing the painting for them either. I know they just had a gallery update. I think it might have messed some stuff up. Well, that really sucks, and it's gonna make it a little harder, so I'm very sorry, Capricorns. I guess I'll just get them some like minimal art. We're not gonna have too much in here anyway, as I've kind of been saying. And let me of course just get some plants in. And you know what, since I did see some people saying that Capricorns have a party animal side to them, we will get them a radio just for those occasions where they feel like having a dance party. And I was looking to get a little wall clock because they're very good at managing things, managing time, managing finances, but I never realized how ugly the clocks are in this game. Yeah, I don't think I can bring myself to to use that, so I'm just gonna wait for the bedroom. We can get an alarm clock instead. All right, I think that's actually really nice for our little living room. It's very cozy, but still pretty modern and minimalistic. Although once again, I may have gone a little overboard on the clutter. And I did not add curtains because I kind of like how bright and open it is to the outside, so they can get great views of nature, and I feel like that'd be pretty relaxing and calming for them. Well, now I will squeeze by over here to get to our kitchen. I'm just taking a quick look at our counter options, and this is very surprising for me, but I'm actually tempted to use these ones from For Rent. And I actually do like these counters, but what's weird for me is I want to use the one with a blue countertop. I usually think colored countertops are kind of ugly and weird, but I don't know, I'm kind of loving it. I'm not sure how you guys will feel about it though, but it does match our color scheme very well. I'm also pretty happy that so far this build is turning out pretty colorful, because I read so much about Capricorns just being very dark and gray, which some were upset about because although those are the main colors, they of course like real colors as well, so I was just trying to account for that variation. And I know I did also get this little calendar planner in the Virgo house, but as I said, Capricorns are pretty good at their time management, so I felt like I should get them one. And guys, I know this is so late in the video, but I forgot in the last one I was giving the zodiac signs their birthstones if they have one in the game. So super quickly, I'm going back to Taurus to give them their birthstone, which is emerald. Virgos are sapphire, which I do have. The birthstone for Capricorn is garnet, which we unfortunately do not have, but there are other crystals associated with Capricorn like onyx and smoky quartz, which we also don't have, but I'm gonna use jet to represent them because they're also kind of black or like smoky gray. Okay, well, keeping it minimal, I did add in a tiny little dining table for them. I haven't been able to add in a dining table in any of these builds really, so I just tried my best. But yeah, I am loving this one so far. I'm not usually like the biggest fan of the modern style, but this is like a nice cozy modern, so I don't mind at all. Now we're gonna move into our bedroom space. Also, I know I asked you guys in the last one what your zodiac sign is, but if you didn't see that video or just didn't comment, feel free to let me know in this video what your zodiac sign is. I loved seeing all of your comments, and it was kind of funny because some of you said like what sign you thought I was, and it was really interesting because some of you said signs that a lot of people tend to think I am. I don't know, I'm not really into astrology anymore. I used to be, but it's still just really fun and interesting to look at all that stuff. Anyway, sorry, I haven't even talked about the bedroom yet, but I really like this bed from City Living. I used to use it a lot actually because it looks pretty fancy and comfy. I feel like that would be such a nice bed for these busy little Capricorns to come home to after work. I can squeeze in a little dresser, and I'm gonna use the same storage rack that I used in the Virgo house because our Capricorns are also very organized. At least they try to be. It's not always that easy when you have a full schedule. And let me get in a clock like I mentioned earlier. I feel like I can use some more books in this build. Let me see if I can find any art to put over on this wall. Maybe I can try to use these ones from the Cozy Kitsch kit. And honestly, I might just make it a tad bit cozier in here because since it's more modern, I feel like we have to try a little extra to make it look cozy. So I might just get one wall of fairy lights. I was gonna get two, but I didn't want it to be too much. And we are back to adding in some more plants. I love doing the earth signs because I love adding in plants. And maybe I'll get an extra calendar in their bedroom too. That one can be for like planning special occasions, and this one can be like the everyday calendar. I wish we had a more normal looking piggy bank, but I do want to get a piggy bank, or I guess saying a unicorn bank would be more accurate. But yeah, as I said before, they're good at managing their money and their finances, so I thought it makes sense for them to have a little piggy bank. Okay, well, this certainly seems like a nice bedroom space for our little Capricorn. Oh my gosh, from the perspective of the bed, this looks so cozy. I'd actually love to sleep here. I could go for a nap right about now. Okay, anyway, we're almost done with the entire build. We just have to do a nice little bathroom. Oh, you know what? I know I was trying to stray away from using these tiles again, but these just look so good. I love the color and like the little bits of brown. It's so earthy. And for the walls, I'm gonna use the same wallpaper I've been using, but then with a pop of this spa day tile. And honestly, I once again want a shower bathtub combo just so this Capricorn can get a chance to relax. All these earth signs are just such hard workers, and they definitely need to give themselves a break. Especially Capricorns, it seems like they can be even more serious, but no one can be serious 100% of the time, okay? It's not good for you. I don't know many Capricorns, but the ones I do know are actually pretty serious and career focused. But when they're comfortable enough, they definitely do start to loosen up. I wasn't putting curtains in this house, but I feel like I should probably get one in the bathroom, especially because the bathroom faces the front of the house. I mean, it's a tiny little window, but we always want to be safe. And this is a bit of a stretch. I know it's a little bit cramped, but I wanted to get some candles in here, so I'm getting a little shelf so it can be extra cozy for our Capricorn. And I'll also just get some of these Lovestruck toiletries. Perfect. It's a nice, simple, clean bathroom. I love it. I've been loving the colors for this house. I think it really came together well. Like everything just ties together, and at least in my opinion, it's giving Capricorn, or at the very least, it matches the research that I did. And honestly, I'm so happy with how all three of our builds turned out. We've done the fire zodiac signs, we've done the earth zodiac signs, and now it is time for the air signs to shine. If you haven't seen the other zodiac videos, don't worry, you can watch them after this one. But in this video, we are going to be focusing on the 3 air signs, which are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So in general, the air signs are known to be very social, Aquarius a little less so, but someone did want me to put a little hangout spot for them in the environment, so here it is. They can chill in this little gazebo over here, they can talk, they can listen to music, they can have a picnic, and also the air signs are known to be very creative, so we're gonna have a lot of creative skills in each of these homes. And with the earth signs, we started with Taurus because that was the first earth sign, and the first air sign in the zodiac calendar is Gemini, so we're gonna be starting with Gemini today. The sign of Gemini falls between May 21st and June 20th, and they are represented by the symbol of the twins. And because of that, one of their main traits is that they're very flexible, adaptable, and multifaceted, which definitely does come with benefits because they're super intelligent and they can quickly adjust to new situations and people. However, it also causes them to get bored pretty quickly, and they're a little inconsistent. They can shift moods pretty quickly, but due to that ability to be able to change modes so quickly, people often call them two-faced, which I wouldn't necessarily agree with because I feel like they're still genuine in their actions. Their minds just move very quickly, and it allows them to be a lot of amazing things. They're often referred to as the jack of all trades, and this makes me want to build a house that has that space to allow the Gemini to have that flexibility. I want it to be very airy, definitely open plan. That's why I have this little glass section right here. They also just love to learn new things. They crave mental and social stimulation, so they're not just gonna have creative hobbies, they're gonna have hobbies of all sorts because they get bored quickly. They need a lot of hobbies to switch between. And if you can tell, I have made our house yellow because yellow is like the main color of Gemini, but I will be incorporating other colors like light green and sky blue, and I was gonna give them some outside seating for like their friends and stuff, but we already have quite a bit. What I can do though is I want at least one skill item out here, so I might get a chess table because since they're so witty, I saw that they like strategy games like Sudoku and chess, which my mom is a Gemini and she can play Sudoku, word puzzles, and like Tetris all day long. And it also works out because if they want to, they can play chess with some of their friends. They are definitely one of the more talkative signs, but I also saw that they don't necessarily love being around people. It's more that they just love to talk. They can really talk your ear off, which I can totally relate to with my mom because she is an introvert, but if you get her talking, she will not stop talking. Well, I would say that is pretty good for the outside of Gemini's house. I feel like it looks very welcoming, and I try to make it like somewhat basic because since they change their mind pretty often and like swap out furniture and whatnot, I wanted to make a pretty simple base so it's easy to switch up if they ever wanted to. But anyway, now we get to move inside, and I still want it to be pretty cluttered, but I don't want it to be overwhelming because I saw that they do tend to get overwhelmed pretty easily. And I saw you guys commenting lots of ways to represent the twin theme and also just that flexibility in general. Like some people will make the house for literal twins with like 2 beds, but I also saw that quite a few people don't like that representation. So what I thought we could do instead is do like slightly different aesthetics between each room. I don't want the difference to be too jarring because I feel like that would be overwhelming, but just a subtle difference, like they change a few objects in and out when they feel like their aesthetic changed. So I might make the kitchen a bit more modern, and I'm going kind of bold with these green counters. Also, since they do like to host parties like dinner parties, I figured we could have a little mini bar, and I could even put it up against this wall so we don't take up too much space in the middle. But speaking of dinner parties, we definitely need a proper dining table for all the guests. We really could even fit a 6-seater. And this rug from Growing Together is so good because it has all the colors that I'm looking for. The yellow, the green, even a little bit of blue. And I know it's not as modern, but I feel like that's good because they just have some things that don't fully match. And I'll definitely get a decent amount of clutter, but I'll make it kind of like fun items. Maybe I'll get a cute decorative plate on top of the fridge. They do like to paint, so maybe that was one of their little projects one day, to make their own plate. Maybe I'll get a tea set so they can pour drinks for them and their friends. Since Gemini seem to kind of switch between personalities, like being extroverted one second and then the next second feeling more introverted, I want the main space to definitely feel like a hangout space where they can entertain their friends and family. But their bedroom and their nice little sunroom activity room will be the perfect place for them to recharge their social battery. And some people may not like this idea, but I'm gonna go off of the idea that they're so multifaceted, and to apply that to a room, I'm gonna make them kind of multi-purpose. So their nice table for all their guests can also be a nice little desk workspace for them. And since they're known to like to communicate, I saw they also like skills like writing and like blogging or whatnot, so they can use their laptop for that too. And I'm not sure that I'm fully done with that space, but I'm gonna move over to our living room, which I want this space to be a very comfortable hangout spot and maybe even a little more maximalist. It'll be a little more fun, a little more out there. I like this cow print rug, and we're gonna need a lot of seating in here. I might give them a video game console so they can play lots of multiplayer games with their friends. Well, now that I've got the basics, it's time to go in with some clutter. And remember, I do want it decently cluttered, and I know we have like puzzles and board games. I definitely want want to get some of those. That would be so fun to play with all their friends, and it's also like a strategy game, which they do like that. And you know what? I am so upset because that zodiac art is just no longer showing up after the gallery update. I want it so bad and it feels so unfair for all the other signs. I don't know, guys. I'm so sorry. This really sucks. But we are just gonna have to carry on without any zodiac paintings, unfortunately. I do think gallery photos will be really good for this though, and because it's supposed to be a cozy hangout space, I have to get some fairy lights. Oh my gosh, I can get some little cards and letters. That really fits with the whole they like to talk and write to people kind of thing, which is kind of funny because like I said, my mom's a Gemini and she loves to write, and she also goes ham on everyone's birthday cards or thank you cards. She always hand makes them herself with lots of fun little designs. That's like her way of expressing love. And I almost forgot that I did also see that Geminis love animals. One last thing that I would like to add in is a guitar to fit in both with the creativity but also with the idea that they like to entertain others. So maybe some nights with their friends they like to do little guitar shows for them. Okay, well I think I'm all done with our main spaces for our Gemini. We have the dining room and the kitchen, which is slightly more minimal and a little modern, but it's super perfect for guests and a dinner party or for a little workspace on your computer. And then over through to here we have our hangout living room space, which is taking a bit of a different direction. It's a lot more cluttered, very fun, a little more eccentric. While moving to the bedroom, I'm thinking of doing a bit more of like a cozy cottagecore aesthetic, but I also want it to be a lot more minimal than the rest of the living space, so that way their room is a lot less overwhelming and it allows them to fully de-stress and recharge. I want to try using this horse ranch bed because clearly that's very different from the rest of the house, but it's still cute and matches our color scheme. I really haven't added much blue, so I might try to do that more in the sunroom. It's just a little difficult to mix all those colors. Oh, also I totally forgot to do the disclaimer at the beginning of the video. I don't mean to be repetitive, but I want to say it for anyone who didn't hear it the other videos. Zodiac signs are very stereotypical and there's only 12 of them, so clearly they don't fit everyone perfectly. It's more just for fun and it's really fun to see if these relate to you at all. So yeah, I just want everyone to keep that in mind as we go through these. This spot right here is the perfect place for a gallery wall, and also over here on this big wall for sure. I also did get in some books because just like how they like to write, they also like to read. They just love words. I saw that they also like to learn new languages, but obviously I can't really represent that. I love the switch up to this room so much. I feel like it just gives them space to be alone and be themselves, but maybe I could get them a mirror that does have like little photos of their friends. And the birthstone for Geminis is emerald, so I definitely want that to make an appearance. And since it's meant to be cozy in here, I'm going to bring in the fairy lights, and I might even get a little pet bed for their cat because that is the perfect way to relax. With your cat or whatever pet you have right by your side, it makes things 10 times better, I swear. Animals just have like a special presence or something. Maybe I'll even add stuff for self-care like some nail polish. Well, like I said, I wanted to keep this one minimal but still definitely cozy. It definitely is a little bit of a different aesthetic for our indecisive Gemini, but it does just seem like the nicest simple place to recharge. Okay, well, switching it up again, we're going to our sunroom, which I want to be a little more boho and artsy. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Really quickly, one thing I wanted to add in was a phone. So maybe if their friends can't come over, or maybe they're not feeling too social to invite them over, they can always just talk on the phone. Like my mom, she honestly hates phone calls, but with her closest friends, it's a different story. They'll be on the phone for hours. And the easel, I'll just get right in this corner so it kind of overlooks the outside. I feel like painting in a place like this would be very inspiring. And I might also pop in a little paint tarp just so they don't go making a huge mess. And if I size down this paint rack, it does like barely fit right here. And there's also this little table that comes with lots of paint supplies. And I am of course gonna want lots of plants in here. That is gonna make the vibe in here even better than what it already is. You know, since I also put plant pots outside, I could totally bring in a couple houseplants too. And then there's one more little like shelf as a part of that. And I thought, why not get another hobby because they can never have too much. So maybe I'll get a little photo camera because that's also a creative skill. Okay, well, we fit in multiple skill items and oh my gosh, it looks so nice to just sit in here on a nice sunny day or even like a rainy day. Just anything would be so peaceful in this room. It's definitely a nice spot for them to just declutter their mind and be with themselves for a minute. You know what? I might even get another plant because I think it makes it even cozier. I think it's super lovely in there, and now we are almost done. We just have to do a bathroom, and I think I'm gonna make it a little more modern too, or maybe I'll make it kind of fun and colorful. Yeah, you can definitely see the different aesthetics across this house, but in like a cute fun way, you know? I'm also trying a bit of blue in here because we haven't gotten much and blue is just perfect for a bathroom. Oh, but what if I bring in a little bit of green with this rug? And I am kind of tempted to get this light up mirror. I don't know, I don't want it to be too odd and like too impractical, but also maybe it's fun. I think it's like a vanity light. Oh my gosh, how about some fun towels like these ones? Yeah, I know I might be going a little overboard here, but like whatever. I just am having so much fun making every room different. Oh wait, sorry, real quick. I forgot I wanted some of these Polaroids. Maybe I can sneak that back in the room, like pictures of friends, pictures of experiences. I mean, we do know they like the photography skills, so it makes sense. Oh, and here's some really fun pictures. All right, well, that is going to be all for our bathroom. It's nothing crazy. Bathrooms are pretty simple, but I did want to make it kind of fun. So it is definitely a little out there, but sometimes Geminis can be too. Yay, we are done with our first air sign tiny home. I feel like the stereotypical personality definitely does shine through. All the rooms are very flexible and very different from one another. It's a little bit mismatched, but nothing too crazy, not overwhelming, at least in my opinion. But yeah, there is our Gemini house. We are all done with Gemini. And now we move on to Libra, which falls between September 23rd and October 22nd. I am especially excited about this one because if you don't know, there's more to zodiacs than just your birthday. There's actually a full chart of signs, but the main ones are the big three, and your sun sign based off of your birthday is part of the big three. And yes, I did just delete that because I was not happy with how it was looking, and I haven't really looked into this stuff in a while, but I'm pretty sure your sun sign is supposed to be like your main personality, and then your rising sign is more like how you appear and come off to others, which is really funny because most people think I'm a Libra. But yeah, I'm really excited to see if I relate to anything myself, which I do know I relate to the color scheme of Libra because they're often associated with pastels, which are my favorite. Pastel blue, lavender, ivory, and rose gold are the colors I saw. Pastel pink and like peach are the main colors, so you already know I'm gonna make a pink house. It might be a little extra for some people's taste, but since I am somewhat of a Libra myself, I feel like I'm allowed to make this one pink. But don't worry, it won't be all pink, especially on the inside. I'm gonna use a lot of those other pastels too. And the symbol of Libra are the scales, which signifies balance, harmony, and justice. And because of that, I'm gonna try to make the house, at least on the inside, very symmetrical. We don't want to do anything that will throw the Libra off balance. That's like the worst thing you can do. They also tend to be pretty social and charming like the Gemini, but in a little bit of a different way. Libras tend to care a lot about bringing people together and making peace. Okay, I got some really pretty colorful flowers, but I don't want to do too much because I don't want it to look messy. From what I saw, Libras prefer more of a refined look. Although I don't know if that's the best term for it because they can get pretty cluttered, more like an organized clutter. Like things can definitely get a little chaotic, but they still keep it neat. Also, even though Libra is considered a masculine sign, the ruling planet is Venus, which makes Libra appear very feminine. Now, I know those are very gender terms, and yes, it is very stereotypical. They're viewed as soft, romantic, they love beauty and aesthetics, but something important to remember is it's not just beauty in a superficial way. That appreciation of beauty extends to knowledge and art. So they are also a very artistic sign, so painting is good, interior designing, and especially fashion. I also put in yoga and a meditation poof, you know, to keep them balanced. And of course, there are some negative traits associated with Libra, like being indecisive because it's hard to make a decision when one could throw you off balance, and they also avoid conflict and tend to be people pleasers. Well, anyway, there is the exterior of the Libra's tiny home. It is so cute and so pink, and I am so excited to go inside, but before we do that, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, especially if you're liking this series because I wouldn't want you to miss out on the next couple videos. Oh, and of course, let me know what your favorite one ends up being. While moving inside, I did already do some pink and white walls. Since I saw that they fit a bit of a more refined look, I guess it should be somewhat modern, but not too modern because I do not want it to be harsh. I just want it to be like up to date, but still very soft and gentle. And I want some cute pink flowers. I do want plants, but I feel like flowers will be better than plants. Oh my gosh, I love this bear. I feel like it's a little random for the entryway, so I might just like sneak it for the bedroom. This might be a little too on the nose, but look at these perfectly balanced stones. That's definitely very nice and calming, especially for a sign that loves balance. I could even get some little heels right by the door, and maybe these are a couple boxes of new shoes that they just bought, because I did see that they like shopping, and I can definitely agree with that one. Although I don't like how the boxes are slightly crooked. I might make my own little combo so that they're symmetrical. I feel like a coat rack could be good, you know, just some more clothes. Because they're somewhat associated with romance, I'm gonna get some love day cards. So far so good. We have a decent amount of clutter in here, but not too much because it's just the entryway, and it's also neatly placed and organized, which I'm not used to. I love putting things on an angle. But yeah, I just got some fairy lights. We're gonna have so many fairy lights in this one because of course that's just cute and pretty. But yeah, that's probably all I'm gonna do for in here because it is just the entryway. I really wish I could change the color of those coats to like pink and blue or something, but this is the Sims 4, not the Sims 3, so we gotta stick with the colors that we have. Okay, I'm really excited for in here. I was gonna use this couch, I think from Cottage Living, but this one from High School Years is a little more fun. I feel like it's perfect, honestly, especially paired with this pastel pop sofa. Also, sorry, going backwards here, but I might want to change the floor to be a little lighter. I do want this to be a pretty nice hangout space because, like I said, they're pretty social and they want a place to hang out with their friends, you know, just like the Gemini, and I feel like it'd be super fun to just be cozy and hanging out watching movies. I can even fit a pretty big coffee table, so I think I'm going to take advantage of that. Let me bring over our nice pretty curtains. These are some of my favorite curtains in the game, and they're surprisingly recently from movie Hangout. They have the weirdest, craziest swatches, but they do have a really nice white swatch. I might bring in some of that lavender with this fluffy rug. And I know I said I didn't really want like normal plants, but that one is really cute and it comes in pink. I also want to get in a little music player. Maybe I'll get it up centered on the fireplace because I know they also like listening to music. They love to dance. Dancing and music are also a form of art, obviously. And speaking of art, I know I got lots of cute pictures, like the pastel pop ones are adorable, but I want to get some like real art too because they love art. They love going to art galleries and museums. They just seem to find the beauty in everything. I might get a little tea set for them and their guests because they do love like calming vibes, and tea is definitely very calming. I love tea. I just wish it tasted a little better. And I'm gonna go ahead and bring the fairy lights into here too. And I always want to try this, but I never do. I want to put these plants like hanging down from the windowsill. I don't know, it's kind of fun and a unique way to fill the space. Oh my gosh, I should totally get some interior design magazines because interior design was one of the things that I read that they're into. So maybe they get lots of their aesthetic tips from there. I'm gonna get these super cute candle wall sconces, very symmetrical on the wall right there, just kind of framing those pictures. And yeah, so cute and cozy for the living room so far. I love it. I'm gonna move into the kitchen right now. I was wanting to use some more like modern counters, and I've been using these ones from Dream Home Decorator a lot more often than I used to. Honestly, the only thing I don't like are the corner counters. I don't like how they're like so angled. Also, I'm just realizing, did I not put a fire alarm in Gemini's house? I do not think I did, so let me get one in so you guys don't have your house catch on fire. And I am gonna get some like organized clutter for the kitchen too, like some little stove utensils. And I also got this little vase because that is like some artwork, and some little clutter cases on the fridge. See, I love how it kept that like modern refined look, but it still looks so cozy. And is it maybe possible for me to get a very tiny dining table here? Yeah, I think that's cute, and I'm gonna get some little flowers on top of it too. It may not be everyone's cup of tea because I know it takes up a lot more space, but I just wanted it to be a little more functional. But if you wanted to download this house, you could simply just get rid of it. And for Libra, their birthstone is opal, which we don't have in the game. We have fire opal, but not regular opal. But honestly, we do have something called alabaster, which kind of does remind me of opal. Just the colors and the ombre kind of reminds me of how opal is iridescent. Okay, well, I think that is good for our little Libra living space. It's super cozy and pretty, and I'm very happy because it fits like the idea that I had in my head. Just a super soft and calm hangout space. And we got lots of clutter, but I try to make it somewhat symmetrical and like more organized looking. Okay, well, now we get to move upstairs, and oh my gosh, I'm so excited for up here. So if you can see, the upstairs is kind of like a studio layout, but I'm thinking of having the bed over in this space, and the rest of the space is going to be filled with all of their creative hobbies and their fashion stuff. So I'm so excited because I think it's going to turn out so adorable. Oh my gosh, the shadowing in this game is going to be the death of me. Maybe on some of the windows, since I can't really use the regular curtains on these ones anyway because it will go into the stairway. I can try using these vine curtains because I love these. I think they're so pretty. So of course we're going to need a very pretty bed. I kind of like this one, but whatever I get, they're going to have to match with these canopies because those drapes are just too perfect for a Libra. It looks so cute. I might get these really pretty rose gold nightstands, and I'm going to get that cute little teddy bear from earlier on their bed. I also earlier brought in this fashion picture, which I think is obviously fitting, and I'm really just going to try and look at the basics right now. So I'm going to go ahead and get a dresser, and there's these clothing racks from high school years that I totally want to get in. I mean, I can make like a real one because we do have some real clothing racks, and we can hang up some cute clothes with that. But there's also, I don't know where to find it. Here it is, this clothing rack. I think it's meant to be for the thrift stores, but I'm just going to use it to pretend that this Libra has an absurd amount of clothes. Or you know what, they could even be clothes that they designed themselves, which kind of leads me to make me want to include a knitting basket. They can totally like knit their own clothes and stuff. I do also want to get in some books somewhere because I haven't been able to fit them anywhere yet, but Libras do also like to read, and I really wanted to squeeze in an art easel. Maybe I can just barely squeeze it in the bedroom area. I don't know, I might be able to put it over here, but I really want to prioritize getting in a vanity. I just feel like it's obviously fitting for someone who loves beauty and maybe they like to do makeup and stuff. And if you're relatively new here, yeah, I don't have like the real vanities that come with whatever pack it is, so I'm just custom making one, which I actually really like because I love this mirror with the little pictures on it, which totally reminds me I'm gonna have to add in a camera somewhere in here. Photography is another art form that they can enjoy as a hobby, and what I also wanted to get was that digital sketch pad so they can make their designs on there. I never use that item. I always just use the easel, but I totally should because it looks kind of fun. I'm gonna get these little love swans on the nightstand to keep with that small romantic theme. I'd also like to get some shoes, and you know what, if I scoot over the hanging rack, I might be able to fit the easel over here in this area, and I can just move the knitting basket like over here or something, maybe get a plant next to it. And now I kind of just feel like I need some more art on the walls. Also, by the way, yes, I did check if there were any Libra paintings, and no, there were not. Here's some little like modern art for them. I feel bad if anyone who watches me doesn't like fairy lights because I put so many of them. Although at that point, they probably just wouldn't watch me. But how could you not like fairy lights? They are just so pretty. Oh wait, I kind of want this. This is the mood board from Dream Home Decorator, which is more on that side of interior designing, but I know we also have a fashion board from City Living. At least I thought we did because yeah, we have the fashion designer career, don't we? And I swear it gives you like a board when you join the career. Do we not have it in Build By? Alright, well it's fine. This will do. Maybe they're a fashion designer and an interior designer. And I kind of want to get one of these Coach bags that we got in that random Coach update. I just wanted something that reminds me of shopping because Libras like to shop. And I would love to get these cute little LED signs, especially that heart one. You know what? I think it's even cuter in the bedroom area. Okay, well how cute is this? I think this is so pretty. And I really just feel like it fits the stereotypical Libra. I don't know that I made it all that symmetrical, but I also like don't even know how. Like that is just not my realm. But I did still try to have a nice balance between a little chaotic but still very neat and clean. And sorry, really quickly, I did change the rugs because I wanted more purple and I feel like it does like contrast a little better. I'm so excited. We are almost done with our Libra tiny home. We just have a cute little pastel bathroom to do. I'm gonna do some of this herringbone tile because it's one of my favorites. Oh my gosh, I forgot we had a pink toilet. Should I just do it like for fun? And I kind of wanted to get a bathtub because for some reason that seems more aesthetically pleasing to me. You know, because they can use like bath bombs, they can have candles lit during their bath. I'll get my favorite bathroom shelf and my favorite swatch. I'll raise some candles up on the toilet. Oh yeah, toilet paper. Wait, did I get some for Gemini? Oh yes, I did. I just wanted to make sure. Gotta give everyone their toilet paper. Alright, well there is our little cozy bathroom for our Libra. I love it. I seriously want to live in this entire house. Like, let me move in right now. I know I am slightly biased because I am somewhat of a Libra. I have some Libra in me, but I would just be so happy to live in a house like this. But yeah, there is the finished Libra house. I hope all my Libras out there liked it. Well, we are almost done with our air sign village. We just have Aquarius left to do, which I'm gonna be so honest, I'm very nervous for this one. I mean, just in general, for some reason, I feel like the air signs have been a little harder than the rest of the zodiacs, but especially for Aquarius, I had a lot of mixed opinions on what build to do. Even though it's an air sign, it is associated with water because the symbol is the water bearer, so they can be associated with a beachy, more coastal aesthetic, but they're also known to be like into technology, so there's a more futuristic aesthetic, and then they're also known to be a little rebellious, so then there's like a more rebellious aesthetic. So I want it to be beachy, but I also want it to be futuristic and alternative somehow. Is that possible? So Aquarius season tends to fall between January 20th and February 18th. They're known for being very humanitarian and progressive, fighting for what they believe in and what they care about. They're pretty independent, they're very intelligent, they're innovative, they think outside the box. They can be seen as a little eccentric, they try not to be like everyone else, they're unique. And as I mentioned, they are seen as rebellious, but not in like a mischievous bad kid way. It's more that they rebel against the social norms. They don't like feeling constrained by societal expectations. So they do kind of prefer quirky, unconventional lifestyles. For colors, I'm thinking lots of different shades of blue, turquoise, purple, and silver. So because they're so progressive, they are pretty involved in the way that they like to volunteer, they like to protest, or at the very least, just do their own part. And I could probably show that in a lot of different ways, but one way that would be the easiest is by making them very eco-friendly and caring about the environment. So I could definitely give them a few solar panels, like they use solar energy. Also, if you can tell, this house is a little bit on the odd side, but it is supposed to be a little bit because a few of you even said you want it to be quirky and a little funky. And all these colors are supposed to be perfect for them because they help enhance creativity, clarity, and calmness. Okay, sorry, I started on the landscaping and I got a little ahead of myself, but here's how it's looking so far. The only thing I don't really like is I feel like the siding is not blue enough. It almost looks white. So I might instead try this one from Cats and Dogs. If you can tell, it's just like a little bit bluer. And it also kind of adds to that beachiness because Cats and Dogs is very coastal. And I still have a little bit more to go with the landscaping. I love these hedges with the fairy lights. And you know what? I might even delete this tree and these plants and just make a little pond to give representation to that water bearer. And I was thinking, since they are associated with technology, they kind of like science or space, they're a little geeky. A good hobby item would definitely be a telescope. And they seem to like pretty unique, stimulating hobbies, whether that's creative or mental. So I'll probably add in a variety of skill items, a lot of ones that I don't often use too. Throughout this, I might get quite a few jars, vases, and pots because yeah, the symbol is the water bearer, but more specifically, it's water pouring out of an amphora or a ceramic jar. So that's a really easy way to represent that. And I like this kind of funky abstract fountain. We're gonna get a lot of abstract things. Oh, what if I got them a bug farm? That is kind of an interesting hobby and it's good for the environment. Maybe I'll get them their own hydroponic planters. Okay, well, I would say that that is good for our Aquarius home. I love it. I definitely think it's a little on the quirky side, and I do feel like it does fit like the stereotypical Aquarius. And I'm sorry, but really quickly before we go inside. We literally have scales in the game. So I got one over here and I also got one on this little plant shelf. You guys were probably yelling at me, but don't worry, I got them in. Well, now we can move inside. I did already bring in the siding and the brick from outside and also a blue painted wall. And I'm still gonna do some purple just through some accent items. And I wanted something about this one to be a little different. So what I did is I made a loft bedroom, which I think is super fun. And it's also very open and flowy. I'm really already liking that couch because it has such a weird shape. And I like this coffee table because it has a little bit of glass. And it was either from my research or one of you guys that said glass is a good material to use. I know it's a little funky, but I was thinking of doing this frame TV. I just feel like they would find it fascinating, you know? So far I do like the combination of the objects though. They're all a little quirky, but somehow it's already blending together really well. I keep just going upstairs to save stuff for the bedroom. Sorry, I'm a little all over the place, which I usually am, but especially today. And I know I said I want it to be open and we have lots of big, beautiful windows, but one of you guys told me to, yeah, make it airy, but also a little closed off and private. You know, just like an Aquarius, they're a little aloof and difficult to read. And I want to get those puzzles and board games again from growing together because it takes strategy, it takes thinking. Some books for them. I made this little book corner because they also love to read. And their birthstone is amethyst, which promotes clarity, peace, and intuition. And it's purple, so it fits right on in with our colors. And since they're into technology, I want to give them a super nice gaming PC setup so they can, of course, game and also program. Like, look at one of these pro gaming PCs. I could even give them a gaming tablet for like on the go. And I gave Libra this digital sketch pad to pretend that's how they plan out their fashion designs. But I'm also going to give one to Aquarius because they are very artistic, and since they also like technology, we can combine the two and they can paint but digitally. Although I'll probably also squeeze in an easel somewhere just for good measure. I'll get some cool like neon signs by the PC area just along the wall like that. I think that's super cool and fun. And I want to get some of that like abstract art that I was talking about. Okay, I would say it's looking pretty cool in here. I don't want to clutter it up too much. I think all the air signs can get a little bit overwhelmed, so I don't want too much crowding up their space. And as I go into the kitchen, I want to keep with it looking pretty modern, especially with the appliances because, you know, technology. Although don't worry, I will not use this fridge. Like, this fridge might be good. It has some like computer screen built in and it's blue. I know the lighting is a little weird. I don't know what's going on in this build. Like, all the lighting is just off. Like, even outside the lighting is so bad and I feel like it's making the builds look so much more dull. Well, anyway, I am just looking to get some clutter in the kitchen. Oh, sorry, I'm circling back to the living room area. I want to get this little megaphone. It comes in the politician career. I definitely need to look at all that city living stuff because there's lots of politics stuff and protest stuff. Just right after I'm done in here, which I pretty much am because we don't have much space for the counters. Oh, here, I almost thought we didn't have these, but here are the protest signs. I'm just gonna get a bunch of different ones, assuming that they support a lot of different causes. I'd expect them to be pretty vocal about anything that they believe in. Oh my gosh, and there's even posters for it too. I'm gonna have to remember that for upstairs too because there's just so many. Okay, well, I believe I managed to get the vibes that I was going for. I feel like it has some unique furniture and it definitely looks pretty futuristic and techy, but at the same time it is still cozy and artsy. I am loving it and I'm so excited to go upstairs to our loft bedroom. Now, since it is kind of connected to downstairs, I need to bring up the same wallpapers just so it looks cohesive because having different wallpapers like touching from upstairs and downstairs bothers me so much. Like, that just scratches my brain in a bad way. Okay, well, I have some items up here. Since this is the bedroom, of course, I want it to be comfier and I might lean more into that artsy and alternative side for this. This bed is good color scheme wise, but I don't think so much for the vibes. I'm kind of not liking any of our beds, to be honest. I mean, maybe I could try this pastel pop bed. It's definitely kind of interesting with the bed frame, and I can get some of these cool CDs and a little drawing. And you know what, for these windows, I don't really know what to do because, like, how am I supposed to put curtains on those? Maybe I should just get rid of one of them. I can't get rid of these ones though because those are in the front of the house. Maybe I'll at least just do some little half curtains. I was gonna use that specific matching dresser to this nightstand, but I feel like I shouldn't. That's too expected. That's too cliche. We have to do something different, maybe even in a completely different color. Oh my gosh, I was looking for a mirror to put on this wall. This one is too good. It's funky and for some reason it just reminds me of Aquarius. Let me get in the art easel before I forget. And I want to get them another sort of unique hobby, so I'm getting them a desk. Oh, you know what? Downstairs I should have used the gaming chair. Yeah, we'll definitely get them a gaming chair for their gaming PC. And then for this desk upstairs, I'll get them the heart chair. And the hobby that I was thinking of, I don't know if it's just because it's newer, but I always forget about it. It's the paper crafting skill. It is another form of art, but just less popular than regular painting. And I'm also going to get a BFF friendship bracelet making kit. I think that might be only for kids, but adults can make bracelets too. Since I can't really fit big items in like the jewelry making station or the candle making station, I'd say that's a good alternative. I might even get a little clay. I can't fit in pottery, but they can practice with a mold of clay. I'm gonna get some more books in here for them to read. This is already so cozy. I'm obsessed with the upstairs. Oh my gosh, you guys, I found the solution to the art problem. Well, part of the solution. Obviously, other people make their own zodiac rooms and houses. This is actually by another Sims YouTuber, but I do not know how to pronounce their name. It looks like such a pretty name, but I don't know if it's Raya or Raya or something else. They have a painting in their build, so I'm going to steal it real quick. Listen, I knew I was going to make it work somehow. And here is the Libra one. I kind of already covered up the walls, but that'll do. And here is Gemini. I am so thankful that they have these rooms posted. Oh no, I'm so sorry, Gemini. We do not have your painting. Well, 2 for 3. That's not too bad. Okay, well, I'm just going ahead and getting some more of these protest posters. And because I don't really have room for actual scale items, I'm just going to get some decorations, you know, that are connected to the scale items, like this little arts and craft caddy. Ooh, oh my gosh, what if I got some tattoo ink? That kind of fits in with the alternative rebellious nature. Maybe they're trying to learn how to give tattoos and give themselves a tattoo. And personally, I absolutely love it up here. I just really like how this whole space turned out, and I was really nervous to do Aquarius, so I'm happy that I like it. It's definitely playful, a little quirky, and I could totally see an Aquarius living here. But we are not quite done yet. We just have our bathroom, which is going to be over here downstairs. And the outside of the bathroom is brick, so I feel like we should get some brick in here too. And I might just do some simple white tile for the floor. And I'm not totally sure if I can fit it, but I would love to get a bathtub. Just because of that same water association, even though they're an air sign. I would totally use the eco lifestyle stuff because it's funky and weird, but I just know that you guys would hate me for it, so I will not do it. I do want something a little unique though, so I might get this like rounded sink. Oh my gosh, I am gonna get a bidet though. I can consider that high tech, and it's definitely unique, at least to me. I mean, that is 100% better than a normal boring toilet for them. I don't think they would rebel so hard that they wouldn't have toilet paper in their bathroom though. I feel like our Aquarius friends would still appreciate some toilet paper. And it might be a little unconventional to have a fur rug in a bathroom, but I think it's cute, and if an Aquarius likes it, then they do not care what other people think. I might get like another random neon sign. And yeah, there's our little bathroom. It's still fun, very colorful. It's kind of giving me mermaid vibes, which I don't know if that is a good thing because I don't know if that matches Aquarius, but I do like the bathroom. Well, now that we're done with the bathroom, that means we're done with the entire Aquarius home. I think it turned out so cute and fun. If you saw the rainbow townhouses build I did, it kind of reminds me of the blue one, which I'd say is a good thing because that one kind of gave Aquarius vibes. But yeah, I love it. It's modern, a little futuristic, but still very artsy, cozy, and a little alternative. I don't know, I did my best, and I feel like it does represent Aquarius pretty well. The time has come. We are on our last tiny homes for the zodiac signs. We've done the fire signs, we've done the earth signs, and last time we did the air signs. But finally we get to do the water signs, and I'm excited because I am a Scorpio myself. The 3 water signs that we will be making tiny homes for are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. I have us here in Windenburg where we are next to the water. I did a little bit of landscaping with some little ponds and a small community pool area. I'll definitely be doing more and probably changing things around as we build the tiny homes. And once again, small disclaimer, these are going to be very stereotypical. It's just for fun. Like, I already know in advance that I'm not going to fully relate to my Scorpio build. Not all of the descriptions or the builds will fit you perfectly. Maybe they will, or maybe they won't at all. It's just a fun little challenge, so keep that in mind. The first water sign of the zodiac calendar is Cancer, so that is where we'll be starting today. The symbol is the crab, and the birth dates fall between June 21st and July 22nd. They're known for being very nurturing, which is why they're often associated with caregivers, but I'm not going to make it for like an actual parent, maybe like a cat parent or a plant parent. They're also very compassionate, loyal, imaginative, and family-oriented. They love family, they have a very strong appreciation for deep connections, and they tend to be sentimental. They're also very intuitive because they are ruled by the moon, which just inherently makes them sensitive dreamers. Their main colors are white, silver like the moon, light blue, light green, and pink. Just really soft colors that create a calming and secure environment for the Cancer. If you can tell, I am trying to go for more of a coastal vibe because Cancers are associated with that aesthetic. They do love the beach, or at least they just like the water in general. It's very calming for them. And I can't believe I almost forgot to mention this. I told you how I'm a Scorpio, and if you saw the air signs build, I also said that I was a Libra rising. Well, I'm actually also a Cancer moon, and I'm not super up to date on astrology anymore, but if I remember correctly, the moon sign has more to do with your inner self and like your emotions, which definitely makes for an interesting combo to have such an emotional water sign as my moon sign. I will say that I definitely can be emotional and sensitive. It can be beneficial though, because Cancers are known to to be more kind and empathic to others. They do feel deeply and they're often pretty vulnerable, but they use their little crab shell to hide their vulnerabilities. They're pretty big overthinkers. They can be a little clingy and a little manipulative. Also, I know this mailbox may seem a little random. It's from Nifty Knitting. You can knit it yourself, and I want knitting to be one of the hobbies for the sign. I'll talk a little bit more about the hobbies later, but yeah, they are pretty creative and they like to do arts and crafts, little homemade crafts. And I am just sneaking in a little hot tub in the back for them. One of you guys said a bath and a hot tub would be really good for Cancer because they love the water and they also love to relax. And like I said, they are very nurturing, so I'm going to kind of show that through plants. Yoga is good too because that will help calm down their emotions. And originally I was going to save the painting for inside, but I just think it'd be so nice for them to paint outside on their balcony. That is so peaceful. I might even get these fake fairy lights that I always use and put them on top of this like fake pergola and even in the patio space, so when it's like getting a little darker outside, they can still paint and relax on the patio, and it will just be so cozy. The main thing I want about this house is to have lots of little safe spaces, just so their home feels very comforting. Well, here is the finished exterior of our Cancer tiny home. I can already tell it's going to be so cozy inside. I think it's super nice, super cute, a little coastal, and I am just so excited to move inside. Wait, sorry, before we go in, I changed the fences to these ones from Cats and Dogs. I forgot we had those, but those are obviously coastal, and I like that they're a little higher so they're more private. I do think a Cancer would appreciate a more private space. Inside, if you can see, I am using a bit of half walls because I don't want it to be too open. I want to use half walls and dividers to create those little nooks like I talked about. And we're gonna make it so comfy in here too. And since they're sentimental, I want it to kind of be nostalgic and have items that might have sentimental value. And like overall, it won't be vintage, but I might have some vintage items as if it was like passed down through their family. But yeah, I got lots of cozy seating and even a cookie rug because they like to bake and cook. And I'd say it's kind of nostalgic because it's like a little childish. And to kind of bring in the silver, I might do this lamp in the corner. And candles are super good for this too because candles are just so cozy. We totally need lots of comfy blankets and pillows. They also really like to read as well. So I'll get a proper bookshelf over there, but I'm also going to use these small bookcases. For this little reading corner over here, I'm going to use these vintage books. Maybe they're like super old stories passed down through generations. And as I said, I did want a cat because they'd be very nurturing towards it, but it also kind of goes both ways. It can be their emotional support cat, which I need so bad. I've been wanting like my own cat for so long. I genuinely feel like I'd be so happy if I just had a little cat to snuggle with. And I know they're not like generally expensive or anything, but God forbid something did happen, I would just want to make sure that I definitely have enough money to pay for it. So sadly, I should be responsible and wait for a better time. Also, I'm just getting in some family photos. I'm going to try to get a decent amount of family pictures. Like maybe this is a family member. Other than reading, cooking, and baking, and maybe music, I'm not going to get too many skill items down here. I'm going to get a lot of the other ones upstairs, which are going to be hobbies that you can do from the comfort of your own home that are creative outlets, like the knitting I mentioned, other handmade crafts and journaling, and also just a lot of self-care stuff. Here's a nice kind of old school music player. They can listen to soft and calming music, and you know, it's also super cozy and relaxing. Some tea, of course. Maybe it's green tea or chamomile. Okay, I've spent a little too long in this section. I think I should go to the kitchen now. I'm probably going to do some white counters, and I'm gonna do these cottage living ones. They're a little bit run down, but I feel like that fits our whole vintage idea. I love the cottage living appliances, and I feel like I haven't used them in like any of these ZODIAC builds, but I will get a somewhat nice stove because they will be doing a lot of cooking and baking, which means I should probably also get a fire alarm. And you know what? I always forget to add a burglar alarm, but I feel like it would be especially funny to have it somewhere in the Cancer build. Since they can be overthinkers and they get a little anxious, I definitely get anxious like when I'm home alone. I always have to like triple check that the doors are locked. I'll get some cabinets for storage, but not all the way around because I don't want it to be too suffocating. And I really want some baking and cooking clutter that is going to be so cozy and so perfect. I know from the kitchen clutter kit we do have a cookie making set, and that is just too good. They can make their comfort cookies. Since they're so into cooking, we could get them a recipe book, some cute little oven mitts so they make sure their hands don't get burned. Oh, you know what? Instead of this recipe book, I'm going to use the Grammy's family recipe book from Businesses and Hobbies. That way we can get the family aspect in too, and it can be a family recipe book. This is all so cute. I'm so happy with how this one is turning out. I think I'm almost done with the downstairs. I'm just going in and adding some fairy lights, of course, because how can a room be cozy without fairy lights? Well, here's how the main space of the Cancer's tiny home is looking. It's so cute and so cozy, and I really do love like the little references to vintage or sentimental pieces. I actually really quickly added in some more clutter to the kitchen, including this little magnet board, which I thought was really cute and sweet. Maybe they have some memories tied to them. Maybe they were souvenirs. And yeah, it's a super nice space for them to express their love for cooking and baking. But oh my gosh, I love it. And I'm so excited to move on upstairs into our bedroom area. And I know it looks very very big and open right now, but I am going to try to divide the space with a divider and have the bed on one side and some activities on the other. Okay, I moved up the basic stuff like the wallpaper and the curtains, and then I started decorating. I got a little carried away, but I love this bed option. It looks so comfy and I love the colors. Also, this divider is from high school years, and oh my gosh, I love it. The fairy lights and the pictures. And since Cancer is ruled by the moon, I did want to get some moon stuff in here, and we have this adorable little moon lamp. It's too perfect. And if I shift things over a little bit more, I can fit in another one. We want some nice soft plush rugs, and then on this side is where I'm going to have the knitting section and a little desk for journaling and crafts. I might use this comfy looking rocking chair from Growing Together, and then for our knitting basket, I'll just plop it right next to the chair. Let me find a nice desk that we can work with. I think I can get like a bigger one, and this one is from Nifty Knitting, so it's kind of perfect. It has lots of craft items like some yarn balls, some paint. I might do this like cow print heart chair, and I want to like pretend that cow print is nostalgic to them, because to me cow print is really nostalgic. It reminds me of 2020. We'll get our journal, maybe a bracelet making kit. Oh, okay, maybe the nature press, because it's like combining their love for gardening with art. And let's get some of the artwork from the nature press, like they made it themselves. Also, after some snooping, I was able to find the Cancer artwork in someone else's build. So this creator did a Cancer dorm room, and they have the Cancer picture. So thank you very much. I'll go ahead and grab that, and maybe I'll put it over by the bed on this wall. And from Growing Together, we have this super special item, these super adorable keepsake boxes. This allows you to pass down little items or knickknacks through generations. Oh my gosh, I have an idea to fit in with that nostalgia, and also with the whole comfort thing, we can get some stuffed animals. I am a believer that even when you grow up, stuffed animals can still be comforting. I might actually get a couple of these penguins. That is so cute. And we have some more plushie items from Nifty Knitting, which is perfect because they can knit them themselves, like this super cute little turtle, a little penguin with a beanie, and these little octopus guys. I'm gonna get an extra little like accent table right here, so I can get another music player up here, and you can listen to soft music to help you fall asleep. And then I'll also get some self-care stuff like this nail care, just for the days that may feel a little bit more emotionally heavy. And here's some essential oils and lotions. So here is our upstairs bedroom space all finished up. It looks so peaceful and would definitely be a nice place to just relax after a long day. I love all those stuffed animals. I think it's so cute, and I really love how it turned out. We're almost done with our Cancer friends. We just have to do our bathroom, which I did already just go ahead and copy over the same tile that we had in the kitchen, and I have kind of like a silverish marble floor. And we also do not need to account for a litter box because I was able to squeeze one up here on the balcony, which is great because I did want to get them a bath. This one kind of fits that vintage style. Maybe it was passed down, which kind of sounds gross. Is that gross to have like a bathtub passing through generations? And I'm also just making sure that I'm choosing items that have silver hardware. We don't really want gold in this one. I want to do as much silver as I can. Oh my gosh, you know what would be pretty though? A vintage mirror. We could do this super nice mirror that passed through their family. A little toilet paper roll, of course. Maybe I could bring in some of that pink with a pink robe. And I do want the bathroom to be pretty cozy to fit with that relaxing kind of spa vibe. So I got this shower caddy, and I'm gonna pretend that there's like bubbles for a bubble bath, maybe a bath bomb. Personally, that is one of my favorite ways to relax after a long day. I love me a warm bath, and I love me a bath bomb. I don't know that a fluffy rug in the bathroom would be ideal, but it would definitely be soft and comfy. And I would like to get another shelf so I can maybe put some candles on it. I love these like squiggly ones from Pastel Pop. Okay, well here's our simple but cozy bathroom for our Cancer. It looks like such a nice place to take a bath. Oh shoot, but I'm missing one more thing. How could I forget the fairy lights in here? Although I don't think I want them on every wall, just maybe these two. Okay, and with the bathroom done, that is going to wrap up our Cancer tiny home. I think it's so cute and cozy, and as someone with a Cancer moon, I do really like it. The bedroom is super nice. Everything definitely looks like a little safe space. I actually even just went ahead and closed off the living room space a little more. I felt like the middle space was very open, and I did really want to emphasize those safe nooks, which I do feel like made the living room extra cozy. So now that we have finished with our Cancer build, we are going to be moving over to Scorpio, which the dates fall between October 23rd and November 21st. Of course, as a Scorpio, I am so excited to do this one. The symbol of Scorpio is the scorpion. The colors that they're often associated with are black and dark red, and people usually make them have like a vampire goth aesthetic. But one of you actually made a good point, is that a lot of people tend to forget that Scorpios are even water signs, but it's just different. Their colors are darker, like dark blues, dark greens, dark purples, and burgundy. And I really wanted to go for more of a dark academia aesthetic, not necessarily goth, but it's kind of similar. And that same person also said that they are still associated with water, just more like the deep ocean, which is so funny because I have a love-hate relationship with the deep ocean, or just the ocean in general. I'm literally terrified of it, but I also used to love researching about it. And another thing is, if you know me, if you watch me, you know I love pastel pastels. I don't usually gravitate towards darker colors, but I still like them. Like, it's not that I don't like dark colors. And what's funny is the people around me, like my mom, she always likes when I wear darker colors like burgundy. She'll say it's like one of my colors. I don't know, I always found that funny. And it's so interesting for me to look at the traits of Scorpio again, because when I was more into zodiacs, I always used to resonate more with my Libra rising, but as I've gone older, I feel a lot closer to Scorpio. The most common traits that I see of Scorpio is that they're kind of mysterious and a little private, secretive. I'd say we definitely can keep to ourselves a little bit, and that's why the colors associated with them are so mysterious and calming, yet also intense and powerful, because Scorpios are also deeply emotional, passionate, and loyal. They're very driven, analytical, and pretty good at reading people, which kind of ties into how they love like mystery shows, true crime, and paranormal stuff. They love to investigate and try to like solve cases, which is so funny because I love that stuff. I loved Criminal Minds, and any kind of horror movie or show. Horror is my favorite genre. And for the whole mysterious thing, I think it just stems from them being slow to trust people. They definitely let very few people into their circle, but once they trust you, they really trust you. Just do not betray them, whatever you do, because you will not get that trust back. Right now, I'm making a pretty small but really deep pond. I can't really represent like a whole deep ocean, so what I'm gonna do is a deep pond. And I guess I should also talk about the negative traits of Scorpio. They do feel things very intensely, which can often lead them to be jealous and moody. They can be obstinate, possessive, competitive. I hate to admit it, I am pretty competitive. They're known for being into mystical stuff like occult, astrology, and tarot. So I do want to get a little telescope so they can look at the stars, at the constellations, which I also love as well. I really want to go camping so I could see the stars, because you can't really see much from here in California. I'm also getting a meditation poof because they like to engage their deep minds. Okay, I'm so happy with how the exterior is looking. I'm just wondering one thing. I almost kind of want to get rid of the tower part. Like, I'm almost wondering if I like it better like this, and we wouldn't have even used that third floor anyway, because that would just be too big for a tiny home. So maybe it is better and more reasonable to have it like this. I'm sorry if you liked it the other way. It was cool, but I just feel like this makes more sense. Well, anyway, there is the finished exterior for the Scorpio. I love it so much. I feel like sometimes Scorpios are seen as very harsh, and the houses are very harsh too, but I did want an element of coziness and for it to look kind of mystical. I think it's really pretty and fitting, and now we get to go inside. I'm just gonna quickly paste over the basics. I want to make a private sanctuary that's kind of dark, moody, and intimate. And another one of you guys told me that Scorpios prefer moody lighting like candles, more warm and yellow tone as opposed to like bright white lights. I definitely want to use this burgundy color. I could also use this green one. I don't know, maybe it's too colorful like in your face. I might just go with the black, and I'll bring in some navy and maybe dark green too with like furniture. I'm also like kind of covering the windows with curtains, you know, just to give that element of privacy. So far, I feel like I've been able to kind of achieve the color scheme. I also definitely want a TV for this one so they can watch other true crime and mystery shows like I talked about. I really want to get like a puzzle set since they love to solve things. I'm sure they can get some of that satisfaction from solving puzzles. And fitting with that dark academia, we're gonna have a lot of books too, because they also love to read, and probably those genres I talked about, horror and mystery. I'm liking the living room so far. I might want to get a mirror in the entryway, and you know I have to use my favorite mirror. I mean, it is for the Scorpio build. I'm a Scorpio. It makes sense for me to include some of my favorite items, right? And since I don't really have access to a lot of those zodiac paintings, I can totally look at some of these dark academia paintings by this creator right here. They seem to have lots of pretty artwork for dark academia. Like, I love this swan one. We have a really pretty moth picture. I even made a little gallery wall out of them, and it is so pretty. Now, what I might also want to get, because they are into occults, I'm not gonna make this for like a vampire sim or anything, but I can't really get around the whole occult thing. I feel like I have to include it to some extent, so I might get a seance table. Although I don't know how functional it will be because I can really only fit 2 chairs, but I think that could be pretty fun since they are more into paranormal stuff. I would personally never mess with that myself. I am not brave enough, but I do love like watching that stuff, and it does really interest me, so I think it is good to include. I'm also trying to squeeze in a tiny end table near the entryway because they do love music, especially when it has like a deep emotional tie to it. I actually might even get them an instrument, and I kind of want to give them the violin. I know it's not a popular instrument as opposed to like a guitar, but I feel like a violin makes sense because it is very deep emotional music. I mean, we all know of the sad violin song, and I'll get some more moody lighting with some candle sconces. Okay, well, I'm already like so obsessed with how this is turning out. It definitely feels moody and a little mystical in here. I love the colors. I'm really happy I didn't just do black and red because this looks so much prettier. And honestly, you guys know I don't really like decorating with the color red, and besides the blues, turquoise, even the burgundy gives like the dark nautical vibes. Well, anyway, I'm moving moving into the kitchen, and I love this Home Chef Hustle tile. I have never used it in this swatch, and you know what? I don't know what has gone into me because I never use these counters. I use them in the Capricorn build, and I'm gonna use them again because I feel like they are too perfect. With the black and the navy blue countertop, I know it's a bit dark, but hey, the stereotypical Scorpio is dark. I'm not really a fan of the cabinets though, at least I don't think they match, but I don't really mind not having them. Sometimes it feels too crowded with upper cabinets. Oh my gosh, wait, I was scrolling through carpets to put in the kitchen, and I love this one that I have in the living room, but what could be even better is one like this from Crystal Creations. I forgot we had these. This one is the moon phases. I could also use this one that has the sun and the stars. I'm leaning towards this one. Let me see if I can maybe get a kitchen shelf up on this wall. And I know I already did give Cancer a tea set, but I also want to give one to Scorpio. Just like how Cancer can drink tea to calm their anxiety or their sad emotions, Scorpio could probably use some tea to calm their intense, deep emotions, just for when things get a little out of control. Alright, well here is the kitchen for our Scorpio. I'm still loving all the colors together, and I'm really liking this aesthetic so far. It's fun to get some cool things in, like that painting, this rug. I love that rug from Enchanted by Nature. It's kind of hard to use just because the swatches are so unique, but I really wanted to try and add it in because I feel like it fits. Well, alright, now we get to move on upstairs. Before I go off into the bedroom, I have to do this really tiny hallway space. It's so small, I can hardly fit anything in here, but one thing I do want, at least on the walls, are the giant tarot cards from Life and Death because they are into astrology and tarot. Now, Scorpio's tarot card is the Death Tarot card, which I really don't think I see any representation of, but we do have a Grim Reaper tarot card, and Grim Reaper is the sign of death in this game. And I can also get Bonehilda, who is clearly dead. Since I really can't fit much, I'm just gonna get like a reading corner up here. Technically, I could have just made it open floor plan up here, but I wanted it to be private and sectioned off. I'm getting some incense, and I also got orange topaz because that is their birthstone. Well, topaz, citrine, opal, and tourmaline are all associated with Scorpio, I believe, but I've always at least known topaz as my birthstone. And to keep with that secret, mysterious vibe, I really wanted to add a hidden bookshelf door. We got this really cool fancy one from that recent event, and it's gonna lead into their secret little hobby room. Okay, I do like this area, nothing too crazy or special. I really want to get to the secret room, but I'm going to do the bedroom first. I'm doing a similar thing with the wallpaper, but I want to try this one from Crystal Creations. Definitely feeding into that astrology idea. I was gonna do like a navy or purple, but all the moons and stars were gold, which I didn't really want, but the black works, and I kind of like this bed even. I feel like it gives dark academia, and there's even a bit of navy. And yes, I know it takes up more space to have the bed centered in the middle, but I kind of wanted to add that in because Scorpios are associated with like intimacy, which I don't want to add too much of because I really don't like how much the sign is associated with that, but I will at least have the bed able to woohoo in. I also really want to get a desk in because I saw that they like writing and researching, probably some investigating as well, so I want to get them a computer. Oh, I'll definitely get this crystal terrarium. What about even the cow plant one? It's a little silly, but I think it's perfect. You know, since we do feel deeply, I feel like I should get a tissue box just for when we need a good cry. Also, I just want to say, you know, this is the last of our tiny homes. After this, I will be doing all 12 zodiac signs in Create-a-Sim. So if you have been enjoying this series so far, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the Create-a-Sim. And now I'm going on a hunt for some Scorpio art. That creator did have this one right here, which I feel like we can make work. I mean, it's kind of our only option. Oh, and oh my gosh, I love these Love Struck paintings so much. And the colors of those fit pretty nicely, and they also fit the whole like romantic idea. The passionate romance on this side right here, and then those deep, intense feelings right here. And I know they're an intense sign, and fairy lights are not intense at all, but would you be mad if I just got it on one wall? I'm getting the yellower version, so it is softer and less bright for the Scorpio. And maybe one more tribute to the whole love thing, I'll get these hearts. Okay, well here we go everyone. Here is the Scorpio bedroom. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm just biased, but I absolutely love it. It is just so good, and even though I do like pastels, I love this kind of aesthetic. I would totally live here. Now for our secret study. So since they're into astrology and crystals, I thought the perfect kind of unique skill for them would be jewelry making. I think it's a super cool skill, whether it's a hobby or like something you can make money off of. And don't worry, I won't forget, I need to bring out the crystal grid. I'll just leave that outside on the patio for when they need to charge their crystals. And all the Crystal Creation stuff is so pretty, so I'm really happy to be having it in here. But I also want this to serve as a private reading nook for the Scorpio, so I'll make sure to add in a reading chair. And for this room, we're gonna need curtains that cover the window completely because it's a secret room. No one can know it even exists. And then I'm also gonna get a couple stacks of tarot cards because remember, like I said, they do like tarot readings as well. Okay, well here we go. Let's walk through the secret bookshelf together. Here is our hidden away book nook and jewelry making station. I would honestly love a little hidden away room. That sounds so nice. and I just love that. Okay, we are almost done with the Scorpio home. We just have our bathroom. I kind of want to do an interesting tile. Oh, maybe this one, because it does get a little bit of that like bluish turquoise. And then I might just get some plain navy walls because I'm not really loving any of the tile options. And I can also fit a bath in this one. I think for all the water signs, I'm going to try to fit a bath. Oh my gosh, and this sink matches our kitchen counters. That is perfect. I love when things work out. Okay, and now just going in with the bathroom decorations. I definitely feel like getting some candles in here too. We'll get some little soaps. And I kind of want to get a shelf above the bath so I can get maybe some books. That way they can read in the bath. They just have to make sure they don't get their books all wet. Oh my gosh, I did not see this tapestry. It'd probably make more sense like in a bedroom, but I'm just gonna squeeze it in here. And yeah, well, it's just a bathroom, but a pretty cool one if I do say so myself. We got a lot more of the blue in here, which kind of makes sense to me because it's a bathroom. I just always associate with bathrooms being blue. But oh my gosh, you guys, we are done with the Scorpio tiny home. I'm so happy with it. I've only been waiting this entire series to get here, and I'm in a household, it's raining, so it doesn't look as pretty, but here it is. And that makes us 2/3 of the way done. And our last one is our Pisces tiny home. They're represented by two fish swimming in opposite directions, and they fall between February 19th and March 20th, plus or minus a day because the days change depending on the year. One of the main traits of Pisces is that they're super empathetic, they're selfless, so much so that they're attuned to others' emotions and they put others before their own. And from what I saw, Pisces are very tied to the ocean, but also to like streams and rivers. But I don't just want this to be coastal beachy, I want it to be dreamy and whimsical and boho, because Pisces themselves are dreamy. They're very imaginative and artistic. They're even said to be a little psychic due to their intuition. Their main color is like a seafoam green. They're also associated with light green, blue, lavender. They're wise, gentle, easygoing. They just kind of go with the flow. And their symbol of the fish swimming in opposite directions actually represents the constant division of their attention between reality and fantasy, which can be bad if they're just like off in dreamland, but it can also be good because since they are artists, it does help keep a really nice flow of creativity. However, they can be a little naive, flaky, and sensitive. They don't really take criticism well. They also tend to distract themselves and kind of escape from reality when times get difficult. But nonetheless, they make great friends, they love animals, and I'll probably try to get them a dog even. I also did see another one of their colors is coral, which I'm gonna try to incorporate. We don't have much in this game, but like just with these lily pads, these lounge chairs. And since they love to paint, I want to get an easel outside just to make sure we can fit it in, but they also do love being outside, especially near the water. I feel like it'd be very nice and inspiring for them, and they also specifically love watercoloring, so I'm gonna pretend that's kind of what we have going on out here. I'm gonna get some more art supplies on the ground like these paint buckets. Super cute. They also like other calming activities like yoga. They do really seem to like being outside. They like to explore, so I'm gonna get them a bike. And since they're so whimsical and dreamy, they're also into astrology and crystals, kind of like Scorpio, so I'm also gonna get Pisces a little crystal grid. And you know what, one of you guys wanted me to recognize that they're not just super creative and artistic, but they're also just very wise, like in a book smart kind of way. So I might just get like a chess table to represent that, and we'll get lots of books inside too. And it's Pisces, so we're gonna need fish in the pond. Alright, well, I think that is going to be good for the outside of our Pisces home. It definitely looks like a little cozy, dreamy beach cottage. And we got lots of seafoam green and blue on the outside, but I will try to get that purple on the inside. And it's just gonna be super cute and adorable. So let's go ahead and get started. The seafoam green is so pretty, especially paired with like a lavender. So since Pisces are so carefree, I want to show that in their house. I want to get relaxed furniture and have a relaxed layout. And of course, keeping with that boho dreamy look. Initially, I was going to use that Enchanted by Nature couch, which also looked cute, but I love the print on this one. Oh my gosh, I forgot we had this aquarium table. It's a little too big for the space anyway, but maybe instead I'll find somewhere to put a fish bowl. I'll probably get them a bit of a smaller TV. I don't know, I feel like they wouldn't care that much about having like the most updated stuff. A smaller TV's fine. They probably spend most of their time doing their little creative and mental hobbies anyway. I definitely would like candles in this one too. I know we got them in every single build so far, but it does make sense because they are all supposed to be cozy. Well, for Scorpios, I guess it was more about being moody and dramatic. And as I believe I already said, they do like crystals, so I'm going to get a little crystal lamp. Oh, this is cute. A little craft cubby. For the decor, I want lots of magical stuff, but also crafty and creative, and maybe even a little silly and cute. I will definitely be making this one a bit more cluttered since they're so carefree. They don't mind if it looks a little messy, but it's not like messy. It is intentional clutter. It just might come off as messy to someone who prefers more minimal clutter. And oh my gosh, you guys, I am so excited. I'm recording this Pisces one on a different day than the other ones, and there was an update today, and I think they fixed the gallery. ready. So let's look together. We should have our paintings back. Oh my gosh, yes we do. I'm so happy, guys. We can now have art. It is unfortunate that it happened on our last sign of the series, but I guess if I find any more that I want to use for the others, I can go back. But here, let me get some of this Pisces artwork, and the color happens to match our room perfectly, so I feel like I'm doing something right. Oh yeah, and I definitely do want to get some of these underwater photos from Island Living. I love these photos so much. It kind of sucks that they're in debug, but they are perfect for our Pisces, and we've obviously established that they're creative. But one of the things that I saw when researching was that they're very into music and like playing music, and I thought a piano would be a great idea. I don't know, I feel like piano would be a good instrument for such a dreamy sim. And this one from Growing Together has the cutest watches ever. I think there is one with fish, but I don't like that one. Like, I still want the Pisces house to be cute, and I feel like that doesn't match very well. It's okay, the tree's pretty and it looks whimsical. And I also wrote down that a microphone would be good. I might even just throw it in the living room, like that is where they practice. And one more little musical item could be a guitar. I'll just put it resting against our piano. I really wanted to try and bring in some coral, but as you can imagine, it is kind of hard. We just don't really have the best options for it, and we also don't have a lot of options. I might even just look at the Enchanted by Nature stuff to get those mystical items. I'll try to get them in a bookshelf. This will work for now, but I will try to get a bigger one. But those work too, and they're super cute. Okay, and as per usual, I'm gonna bring in the fairy lights. I really feel like I don't have to announce that every time, but I also love to because they're so cute. And of course, as I said, I'm going to try and squeeze in a dog in here, which should be easier than a cat because I don't have to get their litter box. Just a bed, a food bowl, and some toys. And I'll just kind of get the toys around. Oh my gosh, is that a crab toy? Why did I not give one of these to Cancer's cat? Give me 1 second, please. Oh my gosh, what if I got this little like fish rod or whatever this is, a fish mobile? I really don't mean to be so on the nose, but I feel like I have to add that in. Okay, I feel like so far so good. I might just move to our kitchen real quick just to kind of get it started. And since we're going more boho, I might use these counters from the Country Kitchen Kit. At least I think that's what it's called. I don't know. We have so many packs now and so many kits, I forget what is named what. Oh, perfect. They even have a green curtain in them. And you know what? Since it's Pisces and they're so unapologetically dreamy, I might be a little crazy and get some blue appliances. Well, maybe just not for the stove because I actually don't like how that one looks. And I was gonna get a full cabinet set, but I feel like our kitchen is just too small for that. And these cabinets are a little bulky. Maybe I'll only get two because I do like that cloth showing through the glass. And what if I use the ivy curtains in here? I feel like that's very pretty. And then on this window, we have like herbs and sage. Definitely fitting with that whimsy. And I was gonna look at Pisces birthstone. It's aquamarine, but we do not have that in the game. I could have sworn we did, but I think I got it confused with turquoise. But I did see that amethyst is also good because it helps with their intuition and their spirituality. And honestly, since they do love crystals, I'm just gonna get random ones too. Wait a minute, we do have moonstone. Sorry, I know I keep going back and forth, but moonstone is supposed to be a very lucky crystal for Cancer since they are ruled by the moon. Oh my gosh, and it's glowing. That looks so cool. And for some reason, I thought moonstone was their birthstone, but that's not true. I'm pretty sure their birthstone is ruby. You know, I should probably know this stuff being a Cancer moon, and my boyfriend is also a Cancer. I feel like I should know more stuff about that sign. Oh my gosh, I love this little embroidery collection. That is adorable and perfect with the seashells, the whale, the dolphins. And you know what? I'm gonna get them a tea kettle too. I know I gave it to everyone in this build, but I feel like it fits their calm, easygoing personality, and maybe even a little bit with the spiritual side because tea is considered spiritual in some cultures. Oh, and I can also get some emerald in here too. Okay, well, I did clutter up this space quite a bit, so I feel like that can be good for the main space of our Pisces tiny home. So far, it's really cute and cozy and definitely a little bit magical as well. And now we move into our bedroom area, and as I usually do, I did already put in some items, although I don't know if I'm going to keep them. I don't know if I'm going to keep this rug. I love it because it reminds me of the ocean waves, but it might be a little too dark. Oh wow, well that didn't take long. This bed looks perfect. It has like every single color that I've been using. I could also try to get in some of that coral, but like I said, it's just so hard in this game. I feel like it's a better bet to stick with the lavender, the seafoam green, and the blue. Yeah, already I kind of feel like that rug might be a little too dark, but that's fine. I'm sure we can find some better options. I'm going to bring in the same curtains. I never use these ones, but they're so pretty and I think they match the bed perfectly. I love this nightstand because of the ombre blue. Like, it's giving beachy but also artsy. Let me see if I could just fit in this small bookshelf from the Cozy Kitsch kit. This one's always a lifesaver in tiny spaces. And I did want a desk, but obviously we don't have a whole lot of space, so I'll just get one of these small ones from Parenthood. Oh my gosh, and once again with the ombre blue. It's so perfect. It keeps with that ocean theme. And I also want to get a journal. They love to journal and they also love poetry, so I'm gonna pretend that they write poetry in their journal. Maybe they also write their own song lyrics, just any creative calming spiritual hobbies are perfect. Oh my gosh, okay, I think this is the crystal ball that goes on the seance table. But aren't crystal balls like things you can see into the future with that psychics use? I could be wrong, but I feel like that's right, and it makes sense because of Pisces' spiritual psychic abilities. And remember, I did want to get them a little fish bowl. I know a fish bowl isn't ideal, and we do have aquariums in this game, but I don't have a lot of room for that. So we will just imagine that it is still very well taken care of. Maybe it's just in between tanks at the moment. The big one is getting cleaned. Another thing I really want to get in is this canopy over the bed because it is so dreamy. I just went into live mode to change the color of the lighting and it looks so pretty. So far this is gorgeous. I'm loving it. Are we surprised though? I mean, this is one of my favorite color combos ever. I'm gonna get some pictures on the floor and pretend that these are the ones that they've painted. We've even got one of like the beach or maybe a lake. And we did also have this painting for Pisces. Even one of the little fish from this creator right here. So pretty. I'm so happy to have the gallery working again. Although I am very sorry to all my friends who got left out. Oh, and one of the other hobbies that I saw that I almost forgot about was photography. So I'll just get in a little photo camera for them. Who knows, maybe it was them who took pictures of the underwater ocean. And just for fun, I might get a jar of marbles. Maybe they try to collect them on the places they go to. Because remember, they do like to travel and explore the beauties of the world. Alright, well, I would say it's looking pretty dreamy in here. Oh my gosh, like it's actually so pretty. I feel like it's a pretty nice calming bedroom for our Pisces. Okay, oh my gosh, we are almost done. I cannot believe it. We really just have the bathroom to do, and then we're not just done with this build, but the entire build series. It has seriously been so much fun. I love getting creative like this. You know, since there really are so many different ways you can interpret all of these signs and what a build would look like for them, I've just been enjoying this so much, and I'm glad to see that a lot of you were too. And we are finishing up by just making a cozy pastel bathroom for our Pisces. And yeah, I gave Pisces a bath too. I feel like it fits for all the water signs. Oh my gosh, these towels are perfect because there's one with little fish, and I'll get some cozy candles in the bathroom too. Well, here it is, just another one of our very simple bathrooms, but it's still super cute and cozy with the candles and the fairy lights. And there you have it. There is our Pisces tiny home. Oh my gosh, I love it. It is so whimsical and just so cozy, and it is just as adorable on the outside as well. And I was able to find some paintings for Scorpio, like this gorgeous one and also this little one right here. And then for Cancer, I already had this one, but I was also able to find this one right here. Super pretty, and I'm just glad it's all working again. But yeah, that is going to wrap it up for our water sign tiny home builds. I do feel like they all turned out pretty good, so make sure to let me know what your favorite one was. Now obviously I'm biased and my favorite one was the Scorpio one. Even though my style is very different from this, I love this style and I wish I was cool enough to pull it off. But yeah, let me know if you are a water sign and are you excited to see them all in Create-A-Sim. Of course, I'm gonna base them off of their sign and also kind of their build, but if you have any suggestions, feel free to let me know. But yeah, that is going to wrap it up for today's video. And for the whole Zodiac build series, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this whole series and you haven't yet, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I appreciate every single one of you, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or night, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!